show is disseminated. Thanks for supporting the pod. All those things. I try to remember to say it most days, but just so you know, it is greatly appreciated. Hello, Tommy. How are you, brother?
Howdy, man. I'm doing all right. Getting my things set up, organized. We got a lot of props that we're sorting through here soon, in addition to the normal wagers.
Were you happy that I sent that along?
Yeah, I just had to figure out how to format it to make sure that it all fit, because you've got quite the amount of action going on here tonight.
I do, and I have more than I sent you.
Oh, my Lord.
I have more than I sent you. I've got like 6 more than I sent you.
All for tonight?
Yeah, well, various props that are combined and contrasted that are made up of some of the props that I sent you here. So it's like if you take, let's say you take a same game parlay of Brock Bowers and Cortland Sutton anytime touchdown.
Yeah, who would do that?
Okay, so say you do that, you get it at plus 539, and you're like, all right, well, that's a simple enough one. All right, well, what does that mean? Well, it means that Brock Bowers is going to catch at least one pass, right? And it means that Cortland Sutton is going to have to catch at least one pass. So you can take the over on one pass each for sure, one reception each, if you're already going to bet them to have an anytime touchdown. Now that gets you into how many more passes beyond one do you think he's going to have? You think he's going to catch 2 passes, 3 passes? You start diving into the alternative reception market, alternative yard market, and all of a sudden, that's what you get. You get excited about that. You get. Oh, I can combine that too. Well, how many yards do I think Cortland Sutton's going to have? Well, 10 at least. You got 10. All right. Well, you like 20, and then next thing you know, buddy, you've got your same game parlay, and it's spread out amongst like 6 guys and 5 ways to Sunday, and you got a big plus 1,322. That's a massive 6-legger or a 10-legger or a 12-legger. Depends on what you want to do, Tom.
Dodeca-legger?
I don't have a dodeca-legger tonight. I don't. I do have one silly wager.
Silly goose.
It's a silly goose wager. I made myself laugh when I made it. Now, if it hits, we may take tomorrow off. If it hits,
you're going to take Clemson Friday off? It's that profitable?
No, they have 5 losses. We've got 4. Who the hell cares? No. I just it might be worth it to piss off everybody and just like, because we could go wherever we wanted to go if this one hits. This would be big. This would be like, hey, Tom, pick the game that you want to see the most this weekend. Let's go.
Well, if I'm cut in on the winnings, then all right, we do take it.
I'm not going to go to these games by myself. So we would like maybe parlay this into a trip. Maybe you want to see, I don't know, Indiana, Penn State. Fly up there and see it if this hits.
Good uniform game.
Well, I never used to think about Indiana's uniforms other than during basketball season. And now I do think of Indiana's uniforms because they are more than relevant. They're very good. And they actually have good uniforms. It's not bad. It's a little red, white. It's hard to beat. It's a good combination. But I will get to you. I knew you had to make sure the house was in order for the prop Jeff bets for tonight.
So I broke them up into 4 because it looked like you had 4 different prop bets. The kicker was part of the prop 4, correct? The last one, Carlson?
What? That's a straight bet.
Oh, okay. All right.
The last one, Carlson, is not part of the same game parlay with Dobbins, Bowers, and Sutton.
All right. I don't think you posted the odds for those 3 players, though. The
Dobbins, Bowers, Sutton, I failed to post the odds.
That's why I thought. I was like, why would a 4-legger be only plus 102?
No. We can. Well, I know I made this wager, so I can look it up and see what I got.
Okay, all right.
I'll do it during the break. People can just figure out whatever it is. It changes by the hour. So if you make the bet, you'll find out what it is. You're going to get plus numbers on that. You know what? I tell you something. This is I don't know if it's the byproduct of our constant discussion of what Florida State football is not these days, or what. But I just woke up thinking about Florida State basketball. They got a game tomorrow. Next Tuesday, I may be headed down to Gainesville to watch us play Florida, Tom. I'm thinking about it.
Were you invited to a suite for that or something?
I was invited to go see the game. Not a suite.
But you were invited by a higher up?
I was invited to go to the game.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm just I could go to the game anyhow. I could get a press pass
on a team bus. Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Because you wouldn't drive that back and forth on your own.
On a Tuesday?
You would need somebody to drive you there and back. I know you.
It just depends on what I'm doing. I've driven to the Florida State-Florida football game there and back.
Yeah, but you're not doing a midweeker to Gainesville unless somebody is sweetening the deal there.
You think I had to be coerced into going to that game?
Yes.
You think that I had to be cajoled? The tracks needed to be lubed?
Yes, and considerably so. The industrial lubricant necessary for this one is more than just the bottom shelf.
I can't believe that you would besmirch my good name as needing to have been bribed to go down to Gainesville to watch Florida State, Florida play basketball on Tuesday. That your immediate assumption was, I wonder who asked him to go and what they offered up.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's like when you said that you were going to the Pitt game during that week. I'm like, oh, well, you ain't going with your dad. That must be a Loge offer. And you're like, yes, I am going to be in the Loge.
I've been in the Loge many times, but I did go with my dad this past Saturday night and sat with him in the stands.
Because everybody bailed on him. And you didn't, because you're a good son.
I'm a good son. I was there. And at the end of the day, my oldest changed his mind. He went too.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He did. He went as well. So it was good. Anyhow, I will tell you that I did wake up thinking about Florida State basketball. I'm just excited about the prospects of this thing. I just am.
So you sitting behind the bench? Where are you sitting?
We'll see.
We'll
see.
Right. This is the easiest game of Battleship ever.
We'll see, Tom. I don't know. I didn't ask where I would be located. That would be rude of me.
Yeah, Luke Laux will tell you when it's appropriate, or Michael Fly.
Where it is I need to be seated when I get there. It's going to be funny when you tune in on Tuesday and I'm at the end of the bench. You're like, Jeff's in a suit at the end of the bench. What is going on?
You can say hello to my financial advisor, JB. He sits under the hoop there for all those games.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So we lost another recruit?
Yeah, Jay Timmons.
Mm-hmm. Well, stunning, isn't it? Stunning to lose him. Now, did we lose him to Ohio State after the visit this past weekend?
It's trending that way. I don't know if it broke. I'm looking it up right now. Because if it happened as I was doing the props.
Well, this is the price you pay for not having your act together. You know, you don't get to keep nice things.
No, he did. Yeah, 20 minutes ago. So right as we were doing the floor.
Yeah, of course he did. You couldn't. Hey, look, whatever good players you see in this class, be prepared to lose them. The guy isn't a good recruiter, and we don't win a lot of football games. It's an easy math equation to do, buddy. Now, we'll overpay again to make sure that we somehow have a top 20 class. But this is a vicious cycle. It's no good. It's not what you need. This is not what you do. It's a toughie. I'm not surprised that we lost him. I know there will be much angst and hand-wringing today amongst the faithful.
Top 30 player in the Rivals rankings.
Sure. If he's really good, he ain't coming here. So it's going to be, it's going to be a toughie when that happens, when others do the same. Now, we'll see. I have mentioned more than once that my prediction for Clemson to beat us and beat us badly is predicated on whether or not they care to play the game. And that's a big if. That matters a lot. I'll concede that it's, it's not 0% when I talk about the chances that they mail it in and don't play hard and go through the motions and officially quit on their head coach. I mean, it could very well be a factor. It could happen. You'll probably know pretty quickly on Saturday. I do think oftentimes the idea of a team deciding to call it a day, quit on a coach, quit on a season, is a little, typically, not always, a little overblown I don't think it happens as frequently as fans think it happens. Now, we've seen it happen now. I'm not saying we didn't. But it doesn't happen as frequently as a lot of people think it does. You know, they'll chalk up a loss to a team that you're supposed to beat as the team quit. Like, they didn't quit against Duke. They lost 46-45. They fought their ass off against Duke. You had individuals at certain times not play hard or not give their best effort, and you could see where a segment group is lost, angry, confused, frustrated, playing sort of not to lose, not aggressive. It gets dicey. I felt like that defense, which got shredded by Duke, you couldn't give up 46 points to Duke if you were locked in. Agreed. Did they quit? No, I don't think they quit. You wouldn't. If you quit, you're not getting beat 46-45. If you quit, you're getting blown the hell out and you're going through the motions.
Yeah, this is where you've got one side of the ball that's trying a whole lot harder than the other. And within the defensive side of the ball, you've got segment groups that are trying a whole lot harder.
Well, this is how fights start in a locker room.
Yeah, they'll rise up and stop the run now at Clemson.
Yeah.
Like they have consistently done that.
Yes.
They love the run. Even the secondary loves stuff around the line of scrimmage. They will get downhill and they'll make a play there.
Don't you think that's the problem with the game? That the thing they do well and have continued to do well is the thing that Florida State wants to do?
Yeah, it is a problem matchup. In a sense, Wake was too, but we threw them out of it, and then we got ahead. Now their offense is better, obviously, by leaps and bounds, Clemson's is, than Wake Forest.
Much.
But you still can catch them on misdirections and underneath stuff as long as that jet motion has some kind of a rollout element behind it. Like that kind of a fake will work on Clemson because they'll go freelancing on the front side of a play and they won't care at all for what goes on if you have a misdirection element with the pass. I think they'd be apt to the Gus reverse. Who wouldn't be ready for that at this point because it's been on film a million times.
They know it's in the repertoire.
But the one thing I would also posit and just throw out there is this offensive line relative to SMU and relative to Duke, it might be better. It might be better, especially at generating success in the run game. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup here.
Oh, I think it's better in generating success in the run game. I don't think it's better at pass pro necessarily.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I think, and Tommy doesn't help either because he can't use the middle of the field and the read is inconsistent. The reads are inconsistent.
Yeah, you can't see.
But whereas it was not a fair fight. We're throwing in the towel on like the fourth run of the game for SMU and for Duke. In this instance, I don't know. You might be able to succeed on first and second down and run the football if you're Florida State a little bit more consistently, getting a 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6.
I hope. Listen, I've been wrong before on these. It's always hard to predict scores of football games. So whenever we're asked to give one, it's educated guess. But games play out the way they play out. You can't predict turnovers. You can't predict weather necessarily. Sure. You can't predict certain things. Well, I just think if both teams played their best football game, we're going to get beat pretty badly.
I totally agree, but they haven't done that.
No, they haven't.
And for last year, how many games was that true for us? Last week when we were at Indigo, how many times were we asked, what do you think is going to happen today? Well, if we care, we're going to win. But I can't predict that we're going to care. And then next thing you know, it gets into the second quarter. Wake hasn't hit us in the mouth. And then it starts to avalanche for us, and we win by a big margin. I don't know. It's impossible to predict what's going to happen this week. But you're right. If Clemson decided this is the 1 out of 12 this year that they're going to do their best, we got some problems.
And I can't answer that. You try to talk to people who cover that program. You try to listen in to some of the things they're saying, and they're all at a loss too. Like they're all struggling to figure that out too. It's interesting. In a way, it was a lot easier last year for us, Tom, when things went so south. I think we all knew probably after the Boston College game that this was a disaster because it was so readily apparent. You caught guys jogging in the BC game. That's the second game of the year. You caught that perplexed, confounded look on Mike Norvell's face in the second game of the year. That stare of, oh my God, what have I done? Look on his face coupled with people jogging, we kind of knew, oh boy, this is going to be a disaster. Clemson hasn't had that. They haven't had the moment where you go, oh, what? Clemson's down 30-0 to so-and-so. It hasn't happened. Like, they haven't been great. Obviously, they can't win at home. They're, they haven't been good. But they haven't had any of those moments yet where you're like, oh, well, there it is. They have completely quit on the guy.
That's fair. I would say the thing that runs closest to that level is the first half against Syracuse. You go,
that was something. That
was 21-0? Something like that.
The first half against Syracuse, the final was 34-21. I remember that. And Klubnik did play. That wasn't good. Here, I pulled it up for you, Tommy.
Thank you.
That game.
24-7, I think, is what it was.
Yeah, so it wasn't good. Wasn't good. And then they rallied back and played hard in that second half and had a chance. I mean, they got it interesting anyhow.
They did, yeah.
So they just have yet to kind of.
That's their 2015 Georgia Tech performance, except it was at home. This is obviously looking back on our history because Syracuse only has the one conference win. They really haven't sniffed another one.
Well, their quarterback got hurt, so
yeah,
that was kind of the end of that. I don't know if you saw this, but the kid that Syracuse started at quarterback this past weekend when they got beat threw for 39 yards. Total.
The Enrico Ciccone.
For the game. The Enrico Ciccone. Nicely done. There aren't many 39s. How did we stumble across that stat? What was it why did I bring that up? We were looking for lowest rated quarterback.
Oh, no, that wasn't, Ciccone was, he wore number 39. That's why I said that.
Okay.
And I know that because I'm 39. And I'm like, are there any 39s in sports? Lightning's enforcer, Enrico Ciccone.
I can't remember who it was.
No, that guy had the 2.
That was a 2. Oh, I thought it was the same guy. Okay, I apologize. I can't remember.
I feel like he played for Cincinnati
back in the day, and we were stunned by what it was. Anyhow, the freshman that they played at Syracuse last week, I don't know that he'll ever get another start. He completed 4 passes. 4. Had, I believe, a quarterback rating of like 2, like a 2.6 or a 1.9. I can't remember now. I just remember glossing over that number and going, holy moly, man. What are we doing out here, Fran? This ain't going to get it done, buddy. So we'll see. That Clemson game can only be interesting if, to me, obviously I want to win it. I hope we win it. It does change your fortunes about the possibility of a bowl. I mean, that's about it. The season's not going to be a successful season in my mind unless they were to win out. And even then, it would leave a bad taste in your mouth with 4 straight losses in a year where the conference it's gettable. It's gettable. You'd still be pissed. But if you win out, it does create a nightmare scenario for Tom and I because it creates the conversation. And not only does it create the conversation, I think it guarantees he's back. If they win out, I'm never going to root against Florida State, ever. I'm not rooting against the Noles. I am just stating what I think to be a fact. If they win out, he's not getting let go.
Okay.
Just so you know.
All right.
I'm picturing you going into that NC State game. We've won the last 2. You're like, okay now.
I would never. I'm like you. I can't. No, man. I always root for Florida State. And there are many situations in life where people say never and always, and that's not true.
Right.
There's always.
Yes.
Yeah. This isn't always. I would Florida State every time.
Well,
I'm rooting for Florida State.
I mean, I could create a scenario where you wouldn't, but you're right. Within reason. Within the
scope of college athletics.
Yes.
Yeah. If it was for the existence of man and Florida State needs to lose, okay.
No, I'm not going to give you that, but I could give you a less dramatic example of a reason that you would root against.
Oh, we got a bunch of criminals on the roster that have beat women, children, and animals? Sure. Okay,
I'll give you even more sensible. We're not going to do it because it's silly and it's not going to happen. And your point is made. We're rooting for Florida State at all times.
So is yours, and it makes I think a lot of people cringe if they're being honest with themselves
about the prospects of him winning out and us retaining him.
Yeah, I would hope that's still not so.
Me too.
I would like both win out and a change. That is the ideal scenario.
I want both as well, but I don't think they exist. I don't think there's a scenario by which he wins out and is not back. Pitch Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas has everything you need for pool maintenance, chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers, you name it, they've got it. They also now, in addition to their premium hot springs, hot tubs, largest selection in the entire city, I might add, they also have the cold plunge tubs. Hot Springs decided, you know what, this cold plunge thing's working. People like it. There are health benefits. We should lend our expertise to not just hot tubs, but cold plunge tubs as well. And they have. And now you can see their selection over at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas off of Greer Road. When you walk into that place, it's bigger than you realize. And there are, 50, 60 different hot tubs and cold plunge tubs. It's amazing. You can get the luxurious, like a 10-seater. Who needs a 10-seater? Just get a pool already. Or you could just get a single-seater. Just me sitting here. I don't need anybody else in this tub with me. It's just me. You can. Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín. Authentic Peruvian. Right around the corner.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Are you sporting around with a cracked windshield? That's not your car's way of showing character. At Seminole Auto Glass, we replace busted glass faster than you can say, was that a rock, a bird, or a banana? We'll help you with your claim. We offer mobile service, and we promise zero judgment, no matter how that crack got there. Just go to SeminoleAutoGlass.com or give us a call at 850-539-4527. 850-539-4527.
Duct tape is not a long-term solution.
Better call Seminole.
This is Thomas Dickens from the Law Office of Marie Maddox. I'm a combat veteran and a former JAG. I've fought for our country, and now I fight to get you your back wages. If your boss has ever shorted your paycheck or withheld your overtime, you need to call me now. 850-383-4800. 850-383-4800. Or find us online at maddoxlaw.com. Offices in Tallahassee.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It is funny to watch. I just decided during the break to catch up and see where people were at in the chat. People just like to argue, I think, more than anything else. There's no validity to the idea that if you want Mike fired, that you're not a Florida State fan or that you're not a supporter of Florida State. In fact, the opposite is true. It's like being critical of something you love. You absolutely have to, because you care deeply about it being better. It's important enough to you to have an opinion about a thing that you hold near and dear to your heart. And if that thing isn't maximized or operating at peak efficiency, as I like to say, then you are going to look for the ways that it can. And that is open for debate. People can certainly have the discussion about whether or not they should or should not fire. It's just that if the person who doesn't agree with you about whether or not Mike should be fired does so, they are not a traitor. They're not in some way lesser than. It's just that they disagree with you. It can be that simple. And, that discussion can be fun, but it makes me laugh because this is what happens. I said at the end of 2-10 that I thought he should have been fired. And I think there were a lot of people in that camp. I don't know how you go 2-10 at Florida State. I never thought it would be possible to go 2-10 at Florida State. You're not seeing other big-time football programs with Florida State stature out here walking around going 2-10 without firing their coach. Obviously, Hugh Freeze has been relieved of his duties in year 3. Didn't have a 2-10 campaign. Did have a 5-7 year. But this has nothing to do with like Mike being a good guy. He is. That's not up for debate. If he wasn't, I'd say that. Just has to do with the future of the program and whether or not you think he's capable of getting this back to a championship level. And I feel like the damage has been done, and I don't think he can. Now, you can say that, but also admit, by the way, that you don't have all the answers. Like, I can't tell you that I think he should be gone and that I know who's going to make it right. I can tell you that I think he should be gone. And then I have some ideas of guys that I'd like to see get an opportunity and hope like hell that they would succeed, but can't guarantee that. And in today's college football landscape, it is getting increasingly difficult to pinpoint the guy that is going to solve all your woes. That doesn't mean that you can't point a finger at the guy who's currently failing at his job. So, that's the discussion. I don't, it's funny because anybody you name, and that might include Lane Kiffin. I don't think we're hiring Lane Kiffin, but my point is, let's just say you had him atop your list. Can you guarantee me Lane would come in and Florida State would win 10 games each of the years that he's here and we'd make the college football playoff? I don't think you can. I think Lane would do a better job currently because I think he's enough of a dynamic recruiter. I think he would. And he's got his personal life together, so I think you can trust him a lot more than you used to be able to. But I don't know that he would instantly hit the ground running here and get this thing. Because what happens, too, is when you lose traction and you begin to slide, and, especially if you're this far into your career here, it gets increasingly difficult to unburden the weight and get back into a place where there's a buzz about you. And there's a sense from recruits that things are going to be okay and move in the right direction, and there's real momentum within a program. All the momentum here is gone, completely gone. It's stymied. And I don't think that winning out would create enough to see you transport into another realm, which is that 9-10 win club for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, where we're at right now, if you made it a football analogy, is we're gaining 2 yards on a given play. And there are many in the fan base that say we can do better than 2 yards of play. Maybe we can dial up a touchdown every once in a while. But the counter to it is, well, how do you know that we're going to score on the play if we get rid of this guy? The 2 yards are good. 2 yards, you know what? That's a gain. We're gaining yardage. Yeah. We're stuck. We feel stuck as a program with Mike. It wasn't the Stanford game that people decided that were in the middle that they were done. It was the Pitt game. Stanford was just the icing on the cake. And I could say that reasonably because I get to do these reaction shows right after the game's over, and they're driven by you, not you and I. It's driven by the people out there. And the main takeaway during that moment and in the shows that came afterwards on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday is, man, I gave this guy a lot of slack. I understood the circumstances, and I understood the context of when he was hired in the history of our society with pandemics and recruiting problems. I understood that. I understood that the transfer portal and NIL cut both ways, but enough is enough. That was after the Pitt game. And then Stanford happened. So I don't understand. Have people just decided to flip because of one result against Wake Forest? It can't be.
No, I think that what you'll get, Mike will have supporters to the very end, and that's fine. I don't tell you can't support Mike Norvell. I just tell you that I don't think he should be the head coach. I don't say to you, the person out there that's writing me emails or tweeting at me or when I'm in the chat saying that Mike should be, captain. I don't tell you can't have that opinion. You can have that opinion, but we vehemently disagree. That's fine. I don't know what you would be basing that on. What would be your reasoning for believing that Mike should stick around? You might cite the finances. Okay. I think that there are people who would do that, who would say, this is purely financial, Jeff. I don't think he's a great coach either. I just don't think we can afford to fire him.
Well, then at that point, what you should have done 2 weeks ago was double down on support of Mike if you're the administration, the university. If you knew that it was a financial reality that you could not make the move, there should be no statement whatsoever that hints at a comprehensive assessment of the program at season's end. It should be, we're doing everything we can to support Coach Norvell. We knew this season would be one of transition, and we back him. And whatever flowery language you could use from the JCS PR firm that we could lend. You don't open the door for the idea that you're going to make a move on him. If it was a financial reality, I'm believing that statement in and of itself tells you, no, we've got the money if we need to. We just hope we don't need to. I think that's what that statement actually said.
Yeah, I would not have released that statement. I would have released no statement. I think it's interesting they felt compelled to release a statement. Might that be that they objectively knew that was as bad a loss as you could possibly suffer this season? That there is no valid reason whatsoever, other than a coach not having his team ready to play, to lose to Stanford? Might it be that they knew that even the most ardent supporter of Mike Norvell washed their hands of him in that moment?
Norvell himself washed his hands of the situation in his own way.
Well, that post-game press conference where he's fighting back tears, he thought he lost his job. He knew he had lost his job.
And he knew it was for reason. If not for cause, it was for a good reason. Yeah, that's how far it fallen. Again, the undecideds made their mind up before the Stanford game, and then that thing happens. That's why they made the statement, which tells me that if they have to, they will. That tells me they do have the finances.
Of course. If they have to, they will. And they didn't want to have to. I mean, obviously, we know how leveraged they are. I mean, to take on all of those projects simultaneously is a toughie. All of them individually needed to be done. Maybe not at the exact same time, but obviously they had hoped that going out and getting him some help, which also tells you that you got a problem. Hey, well, our head coach is failing. Let's give him 2 other guys and tell him not to do his job. Let's see if they can somehow prop his sorry ass up. That's what they did. They told you that they knew he wasn't getting it done, so they went, oh, okay. Well, that guy used to be a head coach. He's currently a head coach. We'll see if he'll come in here and call some plays for us.
Well, and the good news is he's got more time, which means special teams and recruiting should be better because he's got more time. He doesn't need to be in offensive meetings all week long.
When we return, the wagers are in hand. So are tonight's props. Prop Jeff makes an appearance next. Jeff Cambridge at 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Tallahassee woman whose toddler died. on Monday after a separate investigation through FWC found she was dishonest on her time cards. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 81. Southeasterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 55 tonight, mainly clear skies. Highs level off around 80 tomorrow. Mainly sunny skies develop with fog in spots early. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
I was just thinking, I never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood.
Oh, good days.
So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played.
Kind of like the bikes we built.
Correct. Yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played. But
And you still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Want to start with props, or do you want to start with just the Thursday wagers? One last night, Tom, I had a little combo wager. Took Washington on the money line in hockey, and got to see the 900th goal because I was paying attention to that bet.
Never happened before.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's the sole member of the 900 club. And then I had Ball State, who punched it in the last couple of minutes to cover the 2.5. It was a little parlay, a little two-teamer that hit for your boy last night. A little Ball State, and then couple it with Washington.
I like how you stay extremely active in this field, especially I feel like when we're down, your activity of total bets goes up in order to keep the morale up in the house.
You think that I'm trying to help put a charge in the troops? The troops being me?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I think we need to take a look at if there's a correlation of total wagers, and we'd have to go back to the illegal days, but total wagers versus Florida State win-loss.
Is it also causation?
I think in this case, correlation is
causation.
Yep.
Yeah, I was curious. I also like to gamble.
Well, there's a constant there, but even with this baseline, I feel like with the amount of props that you're mentioning tonight, you have how many?
Oh, a lot. I didn't count them all. I gotta go
over or under 6 props you're playing tonight.
Over. Over. Let's get to some wagers, and then I'll get to some questions. Picks for I went straight college with just the Redemption Thursday wagers today. I did not. It's a great weekend of NFL football because of really weird matchups, intriguing matchups, two desperate teams playing each other in desperate times. First place teams from opposite conferences. We got a really good slate this weekend. That's going to be fun. Anyhow, West Virginia. You only put 2 McConaughey's up here?
Yeah, just 2.
I'm looking at it again.
These are all power games otherwise. I mean.
Yeah, that's fair. West Virginia minus 6.5 against Colorado. Looks like Colorado's just called it a day. Speaking of their coach. That ain't going so well. Minus 6.5. I'll lay it I think Colorado kind of quit. Rice minus 2.5 against UAB. I knew when I typed it out.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
Texas A&M minus 6.5 against Mizzou. Mizzou's beat up a little bit, and A&M's offensive line is the truth. Syracuse plus 28.5 against Miami. Now, you could have put a McConaughey here, even though it is a Power 4 matchup. But Syracuse is so bad.
If you had put Syracuse money line, I would have put a McConaughey. That's for sure.
I can't do it. Syracuse quarterback play is so poor. I just can't find a way they win. But I also could see, that's a noon game, is it not?
No, 3:30.
Oh, okay,
we got bumped to 7 for that game to be on ESPN at 3:30.
But my point is, middle of the afternoon in Miami, fresh off of failing with this loaded roster yet again. You have fair weather fans at their best at Miami. That is the most fair weather city in the world. So when you have that, you're going to have a half-empty stadium, a listless group, a quarterback that I don't think the players on that team like all that much.
No, and half empty might be kind.
Well, okay, 3/4 empty.
Including stadium personnel.
So I just feel like that's going to be a bit of a dud. A go through the motions, let's get out of here, run the clock, run the football an awful lot. I'm just asking Syracuse to score 14 points.
Yeah.
Find a way to 14, and you won't get beat by 28.5. Just can you get there? Maybe if you score 7, you won't get beat by 28.5.
31-7, 31-6.
Oh, Miami's going to win the game probably easily. But 28.5 is a big-ass number. I was tempted to tease this up over 31 and couple it with a few others because I don't know, man. I don't know how motivated Miami's going to be here. Washington minus 10.5 against Wisconsin. There is word on the street that Wisconsin may start their freshman quarterback. Well, they're not any good to begin with, and if that happens, we can call it a day. San Jose State minus 5.5 against Air Force.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
This has everything to do with that Air Force pass defense. It's just indefensible. It's ridiculous. Clemson minus 2.5 against FSU. This number is only this number again because Clemson has decided they don't want to win home games. But I think if it was purely based on talent for talent, matchup for matchup, strength versus strength, I think Clemson would be a very big favorite. Now, I want to lose this bet. I want Florida State to just win it out.
No, you don't.
I do. I absolutely don't care if I lose this bet. In fact, I would be thrilled to lose this bet.
You're rooting for Clemson.
I am most certainly not doing that. Florida minus 3 against Kentucky. Just a bad Kentucky team. Bad Kentucky team. TCU minus 7 against Iowa State. I should have bet this earlier in the week. The number went up on me. I could have got it at 6. Kudos to all you who did. I'll still play the 7. Duke minus 9.5 against UConn. Feels like a bit of a trap game, and a lot of people are saying, hey, I think UConn could give Duke trouble. I don't. I think Duke is playing pretty good football. Give me Duke. Give me Duke to win by 10 or more, and I'll take it. Those are my Redemption Thursday wagers. We went 6-7 last week. It was not a get-right week. I thought it would be. It was not. I don't know. I don't have a feeling about this week. I can't decide if that's good or bad, Tom. I don't have a feeling.
That usually is not good for me, speaking of my own personal experience. Yeah. If I feel like when we do our 20-pick pool that we have, the free pool, and those games are listed out one by one, and I go, I'm not so sure. I'm wishy-washy, and I just flip a coin, I lose them all.
Is that right?
Yes, I have to have a feeling in order to have a chance.
Man, I'm glad you know that about yourself.
I do. But that's why often in the NFL, I wake up thinking, I'm going to play. No, I'm not. No. Don't like it at all.
The problem in the NFL is that, you wake up and you watch a game and Carolina beats Atlanta 30-0. And you go, really? Carolina just beat Atlanta 30-0, did they?
Yeah.
That's the toughie. That's the whole.
Or Miami beat Atlanta into the ground.
Oh yeah, before getting their ass beat by Baltimore. Yeah, they dominated Atlanta. You don't bet Atlanta. No, don't bet mess with Atlanta. No. You don't want to do it.
Unless you're betting Carolina against Atlanta. That is usually a safe bet, no matter the circumstances of where Carolina is in the moment.
That's a weird thing.
Just in general.
If you're
that
an Atlanta
happened last
Falcons,
year when they needed it for the division.
Yeah.
They do not like the Panthers.
If you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you love to see Atlanta on the schedule. And if you're a Falcons fan, you're going, damn, man, what is it with us in Carolina? Carolina is a thorn in the side of NFC South teams. Not because they rise up and they're good, but they always give us, they're annoying. Like, sometimes when we're going to play the Saints, I'm like, we're good. Sometimes when we're playing Atlanta, I'm like, we'll be fine.
It's because they put tryptophan in the water. That's what they do.
Carolina, you're like, Carolina's very similar to Arizona, Tom.
Oh.
In that when they're on my television, I got to quick get them off the TV. Like if I'm flipping around and I see Carolina on them, get this off my TV.
I largely agree with you. Every once in a while, though, when they cut to Carolina Stadium, it is a gorgeous day. And it looks beautiful.
We've been to that stadium, you and I have. We've walked right past it many times. We stay across the street from it every time we go to the ACC kickoff.
But sometimes it presents on television beautifully. Arizona, that never happens. Arizona, it's the Tropicana field of the NFL.
Your hatred of Arizona is something.
Just that building. I like a lot of the players that they've had over the years.
And they've had some good teams.
Yeah.
And you like their uniforms.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't think they should be in the league.
We go to Arizona. We got a big 3rd and 6. No, Scott Hansen. No, we don't.
Nope.
We go to the fridge for a refill.
All right, here we go. Now, guys, get your pens and your pad. This is how we roll. A reminder about Proposition Jeff's Co-op. I have to do this every time. Don't bet money you don't have. Don't bet money you can't afford to lose. Understand that when we put together same-game parlays and crazy numbers of legs for those parlays, that the odds are very much stacked against us. I don't sit down on any given Thursday night when I offer these up to you and assume victory. In fact, I assume a loss, and I'm pleasantly surprised if we get a win. You guys know that as of late, with these props that I put together, it stung a little bit, didn't it? We came up 2 yards short in one. We had a dropped screen pass from that sorry son of a bitch at Cincinnati. That cost us another one. We've been a reception short. We've had real good runs at these props that came up short because it's hard to convert these into money, guys.
And this is where I would say breaking news, man barely loses parlay. However, you have had process over results here. This is not the same thing as, guys, you wouldn't believe it. I hit 4 out of 5 legs of my parlay. No, these have been obscure choices and pretty good ones.
Oh, buddy, I didn't share this with the audience. I sent you the one I missed on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, you did.
And how many other legs? It was a 6-legger.
All but one.
All but one.
Amazing.
5 of the 6. And the one that I didn't get
was a catch.
So I'm pretty good at telling the story of a game now. We're going to do a same-game parlay. Brock Bowers and Cortland Sutton, anytime touchdown scorers for tonight. I got that at the time. I bet it at plus 539. Don't know what it is now. Go find out. We're going to do a same-game parlay. Geno Smith will throw at least 1 touchdown. We'll couple that with Bo Nix throwing at least 2 touchdowns, and we can get that at plus 141. Here we go. Players. We got Jack Beck, 10-plus receiving yards. That's an alternate receiving yard total. Pat Bryant, 2+ alternate reception total. Ashton Genty, 2+ alt receptions. I got that, married them at plus 224. That's a winner. That's going to win. That one, if they play anything close to the way they normally play, that's a winner. Same game parlay, J.K. Dobbins, 10+ alternative yards receiving first quarter. Brock Bowers, 5+ alt yards receiving first quarter. Cortland Sutton, 10+ yards receiving first quarter.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
That's a good one.
The first 15. That's what they call prop 4.
That's a good one, buddy. That right there is a good one. And then we're going to bet that Daniel Carlson goes over 6.5 total kicking points tonight at plus 102. I've got more. I've got more, but we've run out of time this hour. I'll get you some more later in the hour.
I feel like this almost could be one of the most straight edge parody segments because the things you just listed off are so deep that it feels like it's an inside joke, but it isn't. These are real bets, people.
Yeah, you can make those bets. I did.
You
I
did.
made them. I made these bets. Yes.
But I feel like it also could double as a great parody segment on betting.
It would be hilarious if it was a segment or a show or something. I'm on the phone with a bookie. Yeah, give me J.K. Dobbins 10+ alt yards receiving first quarter. My God, my man. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Makes Paul's Termite and Pest Control the best in North Florida.
It's our core values, of course, and they happen to spell Paul's.
P, protecting you and your pets from pests and your property from termites.
A, accept personal responsibility. At Paul's, we realize it's up to us to get things right and strive to do more than's expected.
U, uphold company values. Those values include treating others with respect and understanding we represent Paul's Pest Control on and off the clock.
L, look the part. As representatives of this great company, we will always make sure that our image matches the character of Paul's.
S, support the team. Every job we do is a total team effort to create a supportive workplace.
P, protecting you, your pets, and your property. A, accept personal responsibility. U, uphold company values. L, look the part. S, support the team. Paul's core values. They make us the best.
For the elimination of termites and other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Services, comfort just a call away.
222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too.
222-7722. Parker Services, comfort just a call away. Parker Services, comfort just a call away.
Fall is here, and that means it's time to make sure your home is ready for the season ahead. At Parker Services AC and Electrical, a peak performance membership keeps your comfort systems running at their best year-round. Members enjoy priority scheduling, exclusive discounts, and seasonal tune-ups that help identify small problems before they turn into big repairs. Don't wait until your heater has issues. Call Parker Services today and ask about peak performance membership.
Parker Services, comfort just a call away.
License number CMC 050334, EC1301240.
Here's the cold, hard truth. Your body needs more than you're giving it to stay healthy. And now it's easier than ever with Vigor, the all-new cold plunge tub from Hot Spring Spas. Available only at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas in Tallahassee.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Jacksonville Jaguars football, they got Jacoby Myers, who they just acquired, onto the practice field yesterday. However, Brian Thomas did not participate in practice. He is dealing with an ankle injury. He suffered that injury during last Sunday's overtime win against the Raiders. We'll be watching his status as the week does go along. We know the Jaguars are not going to be facing Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud this weekend. He's been ruled out due to a concussion. Instead, Davis Mills is going to start against the Jaguars as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get ready for a game against New England this weekend. Neither wide receiver Chris Godwin or running back Bucky Irving were back on the field yesterday. They continue to be banged up and continue to miss practice.
This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
J.D. Power recently named Nissan #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands, with Nissan Murano and Kicks tops in the SUV categories, and both Sentra and Altima winners amongst sedans. For true quality and reliability, look no further than Kraft Nissan.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Injured? Call Basic Brooks and come back stronger. Offices, Tallahassee.
On the front lines, fighting the insanity of the woke, it's Matt and Brett Doster with America in View.
Matt, Florida has become the world leader for freedom, and I love being in the studio with you every week where we are reinforcing the conservative movement with truth, the Constitution, and a little redneck common sense. We're waking the woke.
That's right, Brett. We enjoy talking politics and what's going on in the world. We're bringing our take on the issues, doing our best to fight for freedom.
So tune in every Friday at 4 p.m. on Real Talk 93.3.
Love to compete on the dartboard? Then it's time to head to the CP. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is Tallahassee's premier dart bar, featuring steel tip boards and soft tip internet play. The Corner Pocket hosts leagues and tournaments regularly. Just check out their social media to find a time that works for you. And in between games, grab a pint and a bite in the cool AC, or enjoy yourself outside on the deck. Whether you want to catch a game or start one of your own, the place to be is the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachian Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Every child deserves a chance to live their best life and celebrate every moment. When you support St. Jude, you help give kids with cancer around the world that chance. Together, we can save more lives. Finding cures, saving children. Visit stjude.org.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
No child should die in the dawn of life. To find out more about how St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is finding cures and saving children, visit stjude.org.
Real Talk fact number 82. There are three kinds of people in the world. Those who can count and those who can't. This is Real Talk 93.3. If Real Talk was a paycheck, you'd be getting a huge raise. More Real Talk right now on 93.3. Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What I had to say last hour was that it's not surprising that Tim is decommitted. I would think most of the higher it prospects, recruits, if you will, as the season goes on, will decommit if they get an offer from Ohio State or Georgia or Alabama or somebody like that. No, I don't. This is our lot in life currently. I don't like it. I don't like feeling like an also-ran, but that's where we are. 2 Live Hollywood says, Jeff, Tom, I'm with y'all. I believe we need a new coach. But I'm very confused. Like, what was our expectation, or what did we think the record was going to be coming off of 2-10? Like, we beat Alabama, our expectations got ramped up times 10. I think that's true. I think our expectations got ramped up times 10 because we beat Alabama, who, by the way, has not lost since that game and whose quarterback has morphed into a Heisman contender. So, yes, I think there is no doubt that we probably thought, oh, my, everything is fixed. But I don't think it's unreasonable to change expectations based on a successful and really well-executed game plan against Alabama. You played well physically. You played well mentally. You were better prepared than Alabama was for that football game. You win it by 2 touchdowns despite being a double-digit underdog. There was a reason to level up the expectations of what was possible after a win like that. And you certainly, I think, could have entered into a realm where you didn't expect to lose to Virginia, Miami, Pitt, Stanford back to back to back to back.
I think the manner in which the team has conducted itself over the course of those 4 games is the red flag once again. You had a reset with your coordinators. You got a chance to start anew, cultivate something that breeds a little bit more consistency. And you have reports from our own Irish O'Fell from the sidelines of Virginia. You have reports before the game against Pitt that were chirping, that were showing false bravado, that what I deem to be a likable team through a few weeks. When Ira told me that on the Smash, I was like, oh, well, thanks. What have you done to my Cheerios, sir? I can't eat those anymore. You have those elements of the personality of this team that suggests you've got some front runners going on, which means that they're not buying in consistently to what the coach is saying. And this all precedes the Stanford game, which clearly they were as flat as a pancake. Nobody cared to be there that night. Now, it's wonderful that they responded after nothing happened in the first quarter against Wake and decided to avalanche Wake. It's good to see that that's in them. But like you said earlier, I think it was on the report, in the Warchant report, which was released today, about everybody being in lockstep behind Mike. Well, you could have been against Stanford. You could have been against Virginia on the road where toughness was an issue for the defense. I don't know. It has trended downward. You've got an outlier blip from Wake. Is that going to turn into something more? Perhaps. But right now, the win over Wake is a 10-game outlier in what we're doing in the ACC.
Yeah. Well, and again, this team is more likable and better than last year's team. What is interesting also to point out here, just because was it who sent the question in? I apologize.
2 Live.
Thank you. I'm going to continue to say that the way we view any particular season, is going to change. It's going to continue to change. And so these are really fascinating times in college football. I know you hear that a lot these days. I say it a lot. I'm sure most of you who are big fans of college football, you're watching it take place right before your very eyes. Things that you never thought you'd see are happening on a regular basis. Let's just start with the fact that Indiana may play for a national title, may play for the Big Ten title, and that game may be number 1 versus number 2. That's unbelievable. I don't think in my lifetime I expected to see Indiana in that position. But that's one of many things that have changed in college football. The amount of teams that can compete, the ability to go toe-to-toe. It's changing the way you view football in the fall, in particular college football. And until some things get regulated and we have some rules that are similar to that of the NFL, then you're going to consistently watch the inconsistencies that drive you crazy. So I don't think that the cure-all for Florida State will just be to fire Mike. I mean, I think they should. I view that as a separate situation. I view it as Mike is not going to be the answer to the question long-term of what Florida State needs to be a perennial power in the sport. I don't think he's the answer. But what that looks like, meaning the definition of and who you are and what you look like year to year as a perennial power, a conference champion or playoff participant, that is not going to be the way it looked in years past. That, too, is going to take on a different look. And that means that the guy that does come in, if he's successful, may have seasons in which he's not. We may have years where we go, whiffed on this, didn't get this. This is going to be one of those 4 or 5 loss campaigns, isn't it? Because it is out on the margins, as Tom and I were talking about yesterday or the day before, whenever it was. These games come down. You're seeing a lot of close games, and a lot of kind of schizophrenic looking teams where 1 week they look dominant, the next week they get blown out by a team that has 3 wins, and the next week after that, when you think you've pigeonholed them into a corner, they're back to looking good, and then you think, oh, that was an outlier, and then they lose another game that they have no business losing, and you go, I don't know who they are, and you throw your hands to the air. And I think that there are a lot more teams like that than ever before, which means you have to be buttoned up, your P's and Q's, everything's got to be where it needs to be so that you can give yourself the best chance to be consistent.
In a different way of saying it, this is the easiest era in the history of power football to be mediocre, which, if you're a bottom feeder, is something, because there have been a lot of programs that have been bottom feeders for a long time where it's the easiest it's ever been to acquire 4 to 8 wins than ever before. And the problem with us is, in that era, we're getting worse. We're not even mediocre. Now, this year's record is 4-4, largely aided by 2 directional wins in September.
Yes.
Everybody gets one of them. Everybody gets one, usually, but Stanford and Pitt and Virginia, resources here, resources there. Do you have to lose all 3 of them? Do you have to? Really? And that's the hard part about this year, because that gives you the same feeling as last year. Different coordinators, same type of result. Now, the win over Wake, that never happened last season. The win over Alabama, that never happened last year. These are good things. It has improved, but do you feel great about Mike being at the helm for another roster overhaul through the portal this offseason? And are there more high school kids coming to help you bridge that gap? Or are we just going to be stuck in this same exact cycle that we have been in the last 2 to 3 years?
Well, he's going to have to stay stuck in that cycle. Wouldn't you say that the ship has sailed for him to get off the, hamster wheel? I mean, was he going to just start anew and get to be really good at high school recruiting?
This would have been the year to do it. Because
the year to do it would have been the year you brought DJ in. The year to do it would have been after the Orange Bowl, Tom. That was the year to do it. You should have worn your 7-5 and 6-6 and curried favor to that high school and profited off of your ass-kicking season the year before.
No, I hear you on that in terms of where you allocate your dollars in the transfer portal versus high school recruiting, 100%. What I'm saying is, if you were looking for signs of life from Mike Norvell because he has more time on his hands.
Oh, well.
Because he doesn't have all.
And the time to try and really amp that up and require of your assistant coaches to do their job better in recruiting would have been after the Orange Bowl. I give him a pass for all the stuff that happened when he got here. I do. I mean, that's not, look, to be a new head coach, not a sitting head coach, a new head coach in COVID was more difficult than being a sitting head coach, where you had the benefit of the new car smell that came from whenever it was you were hired. And you were able to forge relationships and recruit the state that you're coaching in a way that Mike was not afforded the opportunity to do. So I hated that for him. That sucks. What are you going to do? You can't just sit there and mire in self-pity. So you then had to do what he did. And he gets the check marks. He gets the praise for having done what he needed to do there. Recognizing that, well, this does suck, but what am I going to do? Not my job. I got to go do my job. I got to find a way. I got to find a way to do this. And I got lucky because there is a newfound way to do this. I could just go take other people's players. And at the time that he did it, because he was a new coach and in a desperate situation, a lot of the other coaches who were not in that situation wanted to take a wait-and-see attitude towards the portal. It was a newfangled thing, and not everybody was like, oh, I like this. I'm in. A lot of coaches around the country were like, I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if this is going to be a good thing. I don't know if this is going to be here to stay even, this transfer portal stuff. I'll wait. I've had the benefit of recruiting the last 2 or 3 years. I've built some things up. I got a pretty good roster. We'll be all right. Maybe a kid here or there. We'll see. But Mike didn't have that luxury. So Mike went all in, dove in head first. Mike said, let's go. Get me that kid, that kid, that kid, that kid, that kid, that kid. But the portal has since changed. Of course it has. As it became a more widely acceptable answer for roster building, more people dipped their toes in. More people spent money. But also, we came to realize that the level of talent in the portal, at in particular certain spots, really dropped off significantly. The chances of getting a Jermaine Johnson out of the portal now is very slim. Very slim. So Mike took advantage of a system. He got kudos for that, and he got it turned around pretty quickly. What he needed to do, and I don't even blame him for maybe not recognizing this, because it would be a little bit of a revisionist history on my part for doing so. He may have just thought, and this is where hubris comes into play, oh, I can do this every year, while not recognizing that the level of the talent was dropping that was available in the portal, and that more people were vying for the players that were there means that you're not going to be as successful as bringing in that many good players as you did early on in your tenure.
Yeah, that's a conversation we had in real time about maybe some years the portal is a better market to go buy from than high school because scarcity and value, they have a relationship. And maybe some years, hey, you know what? There's a lot of options in high school. We need to go spend our money here. And then the next season, it could be totally different. A lot of dudes entering the portal. A lot of coaches have been fired. This is good for us. The hard part is when you ask a question like, where is the Jared Verse? Where is the Dylan Gibbons even? Where's the Johnny Wilson from the high school ranks in his tenure here? Like, where's that guy from high school?
Well, he hasn't had success recruiting the high school. So, for example,
you've had like AZ.
But you've had AZ and you had Farmer.
And Farmer.
You get credit for those two. And I give you some credit for Jordan, even though, because listen, he came in here having done nothing from Louisville in that situation, and he was about to try to play, wide receiver.
And even some multi-year transfers, maybe you get some credit there for developing those guys because they were here for a long time and they might have turned into
you
something.
don't get any credit for developing a senior that transferred over from Michigan State.
No, but if you got a sophomore and he's here for 2 or 3 years and he was a pretty good player by the end of it, like I'm thinking of Johnny. Like Johnny didn't do anything at Arizona State.
He dropped the football a lot. That's what he did. And then
he became a good player here.
No, I'm talking about Arizona State.
Yeah.
They thought he was never going to develop because he dropped the ball too often. And he had a problem with drops. That's why he fell where he did in the draft. That's why he's not productive in Philadelphia right now, because as a pro receiver, you got to catch the damn ball. But he did become a very productive player for us. So fine, I'll let you count that one.
But if you're asking that question, all right, give me the top 5 homegrown Mike Norvell players and tell me where they were drafted and how they're doing in the pros. That is not an easy assignment.
Well, no, show me the quarterback he's developed. Go get the quarterback that he brought in here and developed.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't exist. We're in year 6.
Yeah.
That is kind of a problem since it's the most important position on the field.
Yeah, you got the Jordan Travis Reclamation Project, and then everybody else went different places and did nothing at their next place. It might be on their 3rd spot. Duffy and Purdy and Cromanhawk even.
I'll go back to this too. I would even be willing to forgive the failures in high school recruiting and developing a quarterback under Mike Norvell if he had absolutely banged the drum for elite offensive and defensive linemen and gone all in. And we would be looking at a team saying, we're kind of marginal at the skill positions. He's got to bring in more dynamic talent that can change the scoreboard at running back, wide receiver, quarterback, defensive back, whatever it might be, right? But you would win a lot of close games if you're just better in the trenches. You'd give yourself a chance to win every game because you were really good on the offensive and defensive line. But he hasn't done that. And that is a gross miscalculation. He has to know that, right? Why every year are we sitting here perpetually having to bring in 5 offensive linemen from the portal?
And how many D linemen will you need this year as well? They've just brought in how many? 4, 5?
Listen, he's hit on the Desir twins. I think they can play.
Well, yeah, those are high school players, and that's good. Good job. They were afterthoughts in the process, so good job by your evaluation. If you want to take credit for that, saying these were underappreciated players, then great. They're going to command some raises in the offseason from rev share, I'm sure of that. That's a good job. The problem is when you're looking at this 26 cycle and these kids, I'm wondering, all right, do we have another 8 to 10 guys coming in this class that you feel like you're building on the 25 group? Because I think they've hit on 25 better than previous years.
Yeah.
That's fair to say.
We've mentioned that. They've done a good job. Sandman looks like he's going to be able to play on the offensive line.
But what you're doing is you're contorting yourself to find somebody that looks in a certain light like a Florida State football player. Like even the argument, I see that somebody put in the chat, the 3 players, Toafili and AZ and Josh Farmer. All right, are those legendary Florida State football players? Or are those like pretty good college guys, pretty good players in college? Didn't even use LT. So it's great you developed them. You didn't use them.
Well, that was frustrating.
That was a crime.
Well, we're kind of rehashing things here just to kind of, once again, vet a little bit about how we arrived at this place and why we have the opinions that we do, you and I, about Mike.
What is the reason to keep him? Like that's where I'm coming from here is like, all right, give me the evidence that, you know what? I understand things got a little out of hand. Sorry about that, everybody, but let's bring him back. You can't go to high school recruiting and look at that as a reason to say, all right, another year is worth it. It ain't there. Portal's the best argument you got, and those results have been mixed after everybody started to use it.
What is frustrating, and so like Dustin, you bring up the ACC championship. We were all elated about the ACC championship, and
he's won 2 conference games since, Dustin.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable?
So to me, when you go back through this and you would say like, okay, won the conference championship. That was awesome. What a moment to be able to parlay that into all kinds of success on the recruiting trail and the momentum that you get. Now he's going to say, well, the snub happened. The snub happened so that you can no longer do your job. Well, then the answer is the answer. He's got to go. If you want to attribute it to the snub, you can. But if he can't do his job because of it, then he's got to go.
Well, then it's the snub's fault. You know what?
Well,
It broke him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I don't care. I don't care. You got to move on. So, and by the way, that team at the end of the year, yes, they had injuries, but that offense sucked at the end of the year. And
even with healthy Jordan.
Healthy Jordan, it sucked. I was growing increasingly frustrated that time. If you recall, we would have these conversations. I'm like, man, that's offense here. Why are we so frequently just kind of throwing it up to Keon Coleman?
And it appears Dustin was saying that Lawrence Toafili won his ACC championship game, and that's fair. I'm glad that they parlayed that information and used him a ton last year, or they didn't.
There's a lot of inconsistencies and frustrations that I think we all, whether you're for him being here or not, would admit to be true. And I other than the money, I just can't see a reason. I can't see a reason that he would be here. He's not recruiting well for you currently. We're going to continue to lose recruits. This season isn't going well. I know that somebody might say, well, if you went 2-10, what'd you think this year would be? And I think this year, much like any given year in which you win a lot of games, is unto itself. I think we're moving to that era of college football. I think you can go 10-2 one year and lose 5 games the next. I think you can lose 7 games in a given year and win 7 the next. You could win 10 the next. I think we're starting to see that the lack of consistency is going to be something that we have to get used to as football fans. But this isn't just a lack of consistency. This is losing 15 out of 20 games. This is winning 2 conference games in a year and a half. That's not inconsistency. That's ass sorry.
It is consistent.
Well, it's consistently ass sorry. So, it would be one thing if you went 6-6, 7-5, 5-7, 8-4, 4-8, and you're like, this isn't good. But even that is vastly superior to this 2-10 followed by what we're 1-4 in the ACC currently. I do think it's an emotional roller coaster right now. And so when we beat Wake and had a moment last week, especially because it was a lopsided affair, people got to revel in the joy of victory for the first time in the games against the ACC opponents that we face in the better part of 2 years. Okay, great. So people were riding high like, well, maybe. He's got to keep doing that. For anybody to be won over that's not currently, he's got to do it for the rest of the year. If he gets beaten down by Clemson, who everybody beats Clemson apparently at Clemson, there'll be no way to make some sort of argument on his behalf at that point. And I hope he beats Clemson. I hope they quit and we beat him 50-0. That'd be great. I'm here for the conversation to continue. Fine. I'm not going to change my mind right now about what I think Mike is or is not, but I want to beat Clemson badly. I hate Clemson. Screw them. They've dealt us way too many losses over the last
That would be
10 years.
2 straight wins in their building over there.
It'd be great. I'm here for it. I'm rooting for it to happen. I hope like hell that this 1-game win streak turns into a 2- and 3-game win streak, and that we're sitting here having a very different conversation as we travel to NC State for an 8 o'clock kick on ESPN. Man, might even be nervous at that point, meaning that there's something on the line. Like you could legitimately look forward to maybe going 8-4.
Yeah, absolutely. Something on the line. We could, if we beat NC State, we could be 500 in this league. Wouldn't that be an accomplishment?
Oh, agreed. It's not where we want to be, but you and I both want that to be a conversation. We
of course.
Want to see that. We want to see that happen.
But I'm not going to be in here saying, all right, it's
of
all
course
fixed.
Not. No, it's not fixed. You did lose 4 straight games. You lost to Stanford. Sorry-ass Stanford. And you somehow engineered another 4-game losing streak, which you're fond of in your time here. So, no, man, it's not going to mean everything's all right. But it beats the hell out of losing.
Yeah, that is true.
And we both agree on that. Stanford, who the week after beating us gives up 42 to Miami and then 35 to Pitt. The week before beating us, gave up 34 to SMU. Gave up 48 to Virginia.
The thing I would say is if you're in the side of the camp of this fan base that says you got to ride with him again, then you should be furious at the administration right now because their statement puts Mike in limbo for recruiting. You lose this kid this weekend because we don't know. It's a comprehensive assessment at the end of the year. If you want Mike back, you should be just as mad as I am about whatever the hell that thing was that was written by the athletic director, because it puts you in the middle. And now, they hit the trail right after for the bye week.
Yeah.
If the kid asks him, are you going to be here next year? A very simple question. What is Mike or what is an assistant coach? Well, you have to really just focus on what a great program we have here in Tallahassee.
Well,
how do you redirect from that?
If you're in the camp of keeping Mike, whether it's for financial reasons or you think he deserves it, whatever it is, you desperately need for him to win these rest of these games so that you can recruit. Because then he could definitively say, yes, I'll be back. I'm going to be back.
You also don't need that thing dangling out there because kids, if that was your son or my son in that situation, they don't know if they're going to keep him. I know you love Mike. I know you do, son. Here's the problem.
We don't know if he's going to be your coach or not.
Let's go see what Ohio State's all about. You're good enough to get they're inviting you. We're going to Columbus and we're going to take a look.
Well,
and it could be, hey, Georgia Tech has invited you, son. We're going to Atlanta and we're going to take a look. They don't know if they're going to keep him.
If you, this is, again, kind of a testament to how far we've fallen. It's not all under Mike. So I do want to make that clear. The way I view any of these recruits that are of the upper crust, meaning 4 or 5 star blue chippers that other elite programs want, I don't care what they tell you months in advance. You ain't getting them. You're not getting them if Ohio State's recruiting them. You're not getting them unless you overpay a Chroma to steal them from Georgia on signing day. You're not getting them. You're not going to. Why would they? Why would they? If you're good enough and Georgia recruits you and Ohio State recruits you and Florida State, who went 2-10 a year ago and had a 4-game losing streak this year, is also recruiting you. And I've got to choose between Florida State. Just because I love Florida State and you love Florida State doesn't mean a kid who has no ties to Florida State does. They want to be seen. They want to win football games. They want to be given a chance to develop and become a professional football player. And that's a factory at Ohio State right now of producing professional football players. Alabama producing professional football players. Georgia producing professional football players and winning a whole hell of a lot of games while they do it, I might add.
Yeah,
in a bigger money league, they're going to say, why am I even considering Florida State?
You'd be more apt to look at Florida State after 2 years in college than you would straight out of high school.
Yes.
Because they at least have a reputation. They're going to do it again with Deuce this year and a couple others.
But this is why you got to get it turned around and win some games, because you're never going to get back up to that level so long as you living in mediocrity to substandard play. Like, they're not even mediocre, but if they were mediocre, if they could put together a couple winning seasons in a row, you might start to inch your way towards being in the conversation again with the upper crust programs, but we're not moving in that direction. And while there are no guarantees the next guy will, I've seen enough to know this guy ain't. So that's kind of where we sit. It sucks. Shannon Young, whom I mention on a regular basis, doing a great job for all of our Noles out there, and non-Noles for that matter. He's in 7 different states: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. Loansfornoles.com is the website. You want to learn more. He's with Cross Country Mortgage. Better rates, better options, stronger support, a very quick response, faster response team. He's doing yeoman's work for everybody. It's awesome to watch. He has an unwavering commitment. He's really good at his job. He's smart. He cares deeply. He will succeed for you. You'll get that loan and that house. Loansfornoles.com, loansfornoles.com. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good, get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right, get a new roof, got to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles, get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller, Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
Tired of spending money on bug spray and inhaling all those fumes every time you want to go outside? Treat your yard so you can stop spraying your kids.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has a solution to this persistent problem. Paul's has a program which seeks the grounds, flower bed, and shrubs. Paul's controls pesky mosquitoes year-round, which means you can take back control of your yard. Not only are mosquitoes a physical irritation, they also pose a potential health risk to people and pets. With Paul's targeted techniques, you can rest assured that your yard will be protected and your afternoons will stay fun.
Take back your yard. Don't let mosquitoes interrupt the fun. For more information, go to callpauls.com. For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Pauls. We'll get them all.
Pauls can help eliminate fire ants from your lawn, too. We'll help you take your yard back.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansfornoles.com. That is, again, loansfornoles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Noles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansfornoles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansfornoles.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín. Authentic Peruvian. Right around the corner.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, if you flip this, our opponent Saturday night, listen, we care about us more than we care about Clemson, but that's who we're playing Saturday. So I would say this. I think if you're a Clemson fan, your aggravation, partly because this is new for you, is at an all-time high, because when I look out on the field at Florida State, I see a Deuce who has Deuce Robinson's going to play in the NFL. He's absolutely going to play in the NFL, and he may end up being a very good player in the NFL. He's that kind of talented, and he's got those measurables that are very hard to find. People that big don't run that fast all that often. And he's a great kid, hard worker. He's going to interview very well. Deuce is no doubter.
Good thing we got him.
Yeah, and there may be a couple of guys that you would look out on that field and say, yeah, he'll play in the – Daryl Jack's going to play in the league. He'll play in the league. There's not a lot of guys on this team that are going to play in the league, but there's some guys that are playing in the league. We'll make it. Clemson, on the other hand, holy moly, they may have 4 first-round draft picks out there on Saturday night. 3 for sure. Might be 4. The fourth is kind of depending on which projection you're looking at, late first, early second, either way. And then they've got about a handful of other guys that are expected to go to the league. So it could be a 3rd round or a 4th rounder. But they got like a lot of NFL guys, is my point. There's no excuse for them being out there losing every home game to Power 4 teams. There's no excuse to have 5 losses currently. None. They've got a lot of talent. They're more talented than every team that has beaten them, that's for sure. Well, I guess I would say maybe not as talented as LSU. Maybe. It's close.
Yeah,
it's close.
It's neck and neck.
But, I mean, damn it, man. That's got to be aggravating. You know what that feels like? It feels very different than what we're talking about. That feels like the end of Jimbo Fisher's tenure. And you and I were just talking during the break about that. With Jimbo at the end, he failed to bring in a quarterback that was any good after Jameis. Well, that was very good. And he kind of whiffed at that position, which became a problem, but he also let this thing spiral because of things that he wasn't consistent about. Let's put it that way. And now we all know there's personal stuff there and all I don't want to go through all that again, but
yeah, but even discipline versus snaps.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He didn't follow through on the discipline stuff. And once you begin to do that, you lose credibility and you lose the locker room. And he began to lose the locker room. And then you'd get these performances that defied logic based on the talent. You'd be like, well, there's this talent here is not playing up to it. Why is that? Well, here are the reasons why. They don't respect him. They're not playing hard for him. They're not showing up. They're not doing the things they need to do to get the most out of what they have. And they're not always being put in a position to succeed the way they once were, whatever it might be. But there's a corrosive element that you have to begin to guess about from the outside. When you're not at practice, you'd say, well, it seems to me they don't follow through on this, this, and this, and maybe that's hurting them in the locker room, and now you don't have real leadership, and there isn't a through line for a culture, and, this is what we have. And that's what it looks like at Clemson from afar. Like, there's no reason that team from a talent standpoint should have the record that they do. So what is it? Well, they're tuning him out. I mean, clearly, number 7's out here half-stepping, but he'll be right back out there.
Yes, he will.
And we've seen this before, man. You can't do it. You cannot. If a kid proves to you that he will loaf and not try, at any point, he can't be out there. The second you reward that by letting him go back out there after you've seen the film, I'll give you the chance to have missed it in real time. It can happen. Football's played very fast, 22 guys on the field, plus officials. You're thinking about a million things. You might miss it in real time. You don't miss it when you watch the film. So if you see that and you allow him to go back out there, buddy, you are now manning a sinking ship because those players see it for sure. And now your word doesn't mean anything. Because I'm damn sure that he didn't tell everybody that it was okay to take a play off every now and again.
Yeah, how does that even play in the film room?
Oh,
is it just not talked about? Like, honestly, I don't know how that manifests on a Sunday or a Monday when you're grading stuff.
I've never seen it. Now, I didn't play elite level college football, but I've never seen it. Like, that was always just a thing, right? I can't imagine being at Clemson or Florida State and not giving effort and having that be cool with your teammates. I mean, everybody's fighting so hard to get on that field, and they sacrifice so much. I mean, it's really every level, whether it's FSU or wherever it is. I mean, you cannot – that can never happen. Like, you're scared when you make a mistake to go to film. Like, you make a mistake and you know it in the moment. Oh, man, I missed my assignment, or I got beat here and that led to this breakdown. You hate going to film in that moment. It happens to everybody. But you hate going and sitting down because you know the play's coming. You're counting the plays. You're sitting there like, okay, well, it's about to happen. Okay, I'm going to get yelled at. That's when you make a mistake. I can't imagine going to film when you just didn't care to give an effort.
Well, that's where I would imagine it's not just the player who's not giving the effort. The other players in that meeting room are checked out. They don't care. So they see that on film, but they don't care. I'm going to do my own thing. He's not going to try, apparently, and he's not going to get sad. But what's the point of me yelling? He keeps on getting to play. That's what that would be.
That starts fights. That leads to fights. If a guy is giving it everything he has every day in practice and then in the game, and he turns to his right and sees a guy who doesn't, and they give up a touchdown because of it, and it's not the first time, and you can definitively know that he was loafing, that starts fights. We don't know what's going on in the Clemson locker room. We don't know what's going on in the Clemson film room. There's no way that other players watch that and go, that's cool.
I would feel betrayed if I was a defensive lineman or a linebacker in what I'm seeing from the secondary. And it's not just Seven who's lollygagging. The other guys on the outside, they will catch blocks, and they'll be sure to find leverage that sees them not involved in the play if it's getting down the field. And that's the hard part to watch. And that's the thing that you can't bank on it, but you almost can. Like for us, I'm sure that we had several opponents last year say at radio programs or video channels when they're trying to break down playing Florida State, well, I mean, this guy is still an absolute freak of an athlete. So you can't count on him not trying this week. He might try as we head down to Tallahassee and you're covering North Carolina. Meanwhile, here we're saying, I don't think they're going to try because that's all we've seen every week. So my guess is if you're talking to the Deptulas of the world this week up at Clemson, they'd say, yeah, Jeff, you can say that if they rally together that they're going to smoke Florida State. They're not going to rally together. They would have done so by now.
Yeah, maybe I'm just cynical because I figure they will. I figure they'll care. There's something special about, hey, listen, this is me maybe overvaluing Florida State. But there's something special about seeing Florida State take a football field as opposed to Duke. There's something special when Florida State comes charging out of that tunnel at night in your stadium wearing that iconic helmet that doesn't exist when SMU runs out of that tunnel. It doesn't exist when Wake Forest runs out of the tunnel. It doesn't exist, save for about 15, 20 other programs where you get the feelies from seeing a team wear that uniform on your field and come out of that tunnel. I mean, I hate Notre Dame, but you recognize Notre Dame when they come out of the tunnel. I mean, when they've come running out here, I'll acknowledge what it is. It's a special moment. They're royalty in college football. I hate them. Screw them. But when you see that helmet, you see that uniform, you're like, woof. That's just same as when Michigan runs out there, Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia now. But that's true of us. And so I would guess that you're going to get an effort, the last-ditch effort, unfortunately, for us from Clemson. I could very well be wrong. They may have already quit on this guy. Or
that Duke might have been the one.
Yeah,
that
it could have been the one.
Some of them were, if some of them were 50-50.
Could have been the one. There's no doubt. Could have been the one. But you know it. Every college football fan knows it. Like, there are teams, when they run out of that tunnel, you're like, ooh, this is awesome. Well, players do too, man. And they're like, holy, I'm playing Florida State. I'm playing Alabama. I'm playing Notre Dame. This is a big damn deal. And they know that those teams, even if they're having bad years, have good players. There's some good players on that team. All of these schools have the cachet to at least nab 5 or 6 on either side of the ball, really good players any given year. So you're gonna. It's different than watching Bowling Green run out of that tunnel. You're just gonna go, well, whatever. So I think I wish this was a sleepy nooner.
But they're also wearing one of those uniforms, and they haven't cared to run down that hill, and they haven't cared to play.
I know.
They're wearing one of them because Clemson has become. Yeah. That's what Dabo has done for them.
No doubt.
And he'll let you know.
Oh, right after this loss, repeatedly. It's Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
News now.
A trial date has been set for a Tallahassee man. Term recovery of the species and the local economy. The season is set to begin on January 1st. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 81. Southeasterly winds around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies with fog in spots tonight. Lows level off around 55. Lots of sunshine and foggy early tomorrow. High of 81. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 77 degrees.
Go custom with your window coverings with help from Budget Blinds of Tallahassee. Budget Blinds brings their showroom to your home with dozens of color and pattern choices. Just tell them what you love and they'll make it happen. From designing custom draperies and Roman shades to color matching your blinds and shutters.
I'm Gary, the local owner of Budget Blinds Tallahassee, where you get beautiful style and expert service for any budget. Call 668-4835 for a free consultation online at budgetblinds.com/Tallahassee.
Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy? I was just thinking, they never tell you that when you grow up, one of the things that you'll miss are the games that you created with your friends in the neighborhood. Wow, good days. So I would have my buddy come over, and then we'd make up these games that were kind of like a hodgepodge of every game that you've ever played. Kind of like the bikes we built. Correct, yes. And it's a grand experiment. In the beginning, nobody knows how to play the game, and you argue about what the rules are going to be. And in the end, everybody knows how to play the game. By the end of that summer, you know the rules, the neighborhood know the rules, and you play that game like it's the greatest game ever played.
And you still try to break the rules, right?
Oh, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But at the end, Eddie, you're never going to play it again, and you'll think about it the rest of your life.
And the best game you ever played was that game.
Never been a better one.
Hey, you want to have a Gordo Smash, Jeff?
I do. I'd like that. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I didn't see this earlier, so I'll get to it now as we wind down this hour. Ian, thanks for the contribution. I appreciate you very much. Please talk about what Franklin could do here, writes Ian. Well, look, you got to base it on his track record. That's all you can do. You can just and to be sure that I am 100% accurate, I will look this up. I know off the top of my head that he's obviously been a good coach. He's had all kinds of success. I remember first thinking that it was pretty impressive that James Franklin could find a way to win at Vanderbilt. And obviously that got parlayed. He was head coach there just a few years. And then that got parlayed into the Penn State job, which I think people forget was, he was there for more than 10 years at Penn State. He has obviously, famously struggled to win the big game, and that's why he's been ridiculed as such. He did win a Big Ten championship, however. People forget that. He won that in 2016. And he has won Coach of the Year before. He recruits. That's the thing that I would point to, is that he's been a good recruiter. In particular, along the offensive and defensive lines. He's been a good recruiter. So, that's where you'd start. You'd say, okay, what would you get? What do you know that you'd get? And I think, this is a guy who's also been in the NFL, so he understands. Everybody really does at this level. I would think that you've got to find a way to bolster your line of scrimmage. Now, he won 2 bowls at Vanderbilt and had 2 9-win seasons at Vanderbilt. And this is before Vanderbilt is the Vanderbilt of today. This is before Vanderbilt could even have a reasonable expectation of going to a bowl. Penn State seasons, after he gets there, in the mess that they were, he goes 7-6 his first 2 years. Then he gets to the Rose Bowl and has an 8-1 conference record and 11-win season. Wins 11 games the following year, goes to the Fiesta Bowl. They win that bowl. 9 wins the next year. 11 wins the next year. They win the Cotton Bowl. COVID year doesn't count. Then they went 7-6, and everybody went, what is this? But he turned right around and went 11-2 in 2022. They went to the Rose Bowl and won it. They won 10 games in 2023. 7-2 conference record. 2024, we know they went to the college football playoff. They won in the Fiesta Bowl in round 1. They won 13 games a year ago, went 8-1 in the conference, tied for second. And then he was fired this year after going 3-3 and over in the conference. The 0-3 was the result of those 2 really strange results. You lose in double overtime to Oregon, and you don't figure that you're on the cusp of being fired. But you lose in double overtime, and you don't rebound, and Oregon ends up beating you 3 times. Not twice, but 3 times. Because you lose the double overtime game, and then you turn right around and lose to UCLA, who at the time hadn't won a game. And then you lose to Northwestern, and they say, it's spiraling, you're out. Penn State got very tired of second place and third place. Penn State was going to be in second or third place most years while he was at Penn State. They did win a conference championship, so there is an exception there. But they were going to be second fiddle to Michigan and Ohio State if those 2 programs were operating at peak efficiency. And so fans were tired of Franklin's inability to win those games. His record against those 2 teams ain't good. And we all know that. And so they felt like they had endured that long enough. It wasn't because he wasn't successful. He was very successful. Not successful enough. They wanted to take the next step. They didn't believe he could get him there. They took the opportunity when he fell on his face against UCLA and then Northwestern to say, this is our out. We can say that this isn't going to work. It's spiraling. Let's move on. I'm sure they also looked at it and said, now that Oregon's in this conference, now that Southern Cal's in this conference, are we going to fall further down the standings against the elite teams when they're good?
Well, and has Indiana passed us for good, or is this a blip on the radar? Either way, they passed us in the moment, and that's unequivocally true.
I wonder, Tom, honestly, and we don't know this, but I wonder, did they think that they needed to get out in front of this to try to go and grab Signetti, who they were clamoring for because of his ties to the state, and they thought, we can get him. We can get that guy. And then Indiana was, no, we're good. We're going to go ahead. We have money again. We've got money now. We're going to call Mark Cuban, one of our great Hoosier alumni, and we're going to get him to sign the check.
I mean, it feels like it was a play for him and him alone with, plan beta being Matt Rule. But they didn't have a third plan.
I don't think they were ever going to go after Matt Rule. I don't know who they're going after, but I don't think it was Matt Rule.
Well, Matt successfully got Nebraska to feel like he was.
Yeah, the agent.
Yeah.
But you and I, we've talked about this. I've told that agent to go to hell. I'm not giving Matt Rule any more money. He's not doing a damn thing here. We're average as hell.
So who's the play for? Are they just going to go find their own Signetti, their own James Madison candidate, and lowball it and hope that it blossoms into something?
I don't know.
I don't blame a university for that. I'm for that here. Yeah. Hunting for somebody at that level. We've been asked a lot, who's your guy? As you said before, I don't know who the next correct hire is. I just know that this one is not living up to the standard, and so we need to try somebody else. Somebody else gets a turn.
Unfortunately, yeah.
This is like doing that daycare. Do you ever do a daycare as a volunteer after school, anything like that?
Not daycare, no.
Oh, I've done that.
Okay.
It's your turn. It's now we have to give somebody else a turn with the board game here,
Oh, okay. I see. You're helping kids at school. I see.
Yes.
Yeah, no. I was a counselor, but I never did any
I did aftercare.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm sorry. We have to take this toy. Now it's his turn.
Susan, Tom needs to play with
we
the toy,
agreed
too.
on this.
Yeah, this is what he gets to do. Hour number 3, final hour, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
Can we talk about the most important things in your life? Your family, your friends, your home, and enjoying the time you spend together. You sure don't want to have to think about whether everybody's going to be comfortable. You want Tony Kelly to make sure everybody's comfortable. That's what Tony Kelly does, and that's what's most important for the entire Tony Kelly team. Their prompt, professional service and attention to detail, they're famous for it. Focus on what's most important to you and let Tony Kelly Heating and Air keep everybody comfortable.
Stay comfortable and stay focused on the most important things with Tony Kelly Heating and Air, committed to serving you and your family with exceptional service, skilled technicians, and reliable high-quality work. Go to TonyKellyInc.com to find their full range of HVAC services, including repairs, installations, inspections, and maintenance. TonyKellyInc.com or call 850-385-3774.
It's where you raise your kids, where friends become family, where every corner has a story worth telling. It's your neighborhood. At ABC 27, we share those stories, bringing you news that connects communities, builds pride, and reminds us we're part of something bigger. We are ABC 27, in your neighborhood. Pay-per-view fights can ring up big bills, especially since in the Octagon there is one every few weeks. That's why the Seventh Hill Tap Room right downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill carries every single fight. Plus, unlike most pay-per-view bars, there's no cover charge. And drink specials too, like $3 select domestic beers and more. And if you enjoy international soccer, Seventh Hill opens early. $2 mimosas on Sundays, anyone? The Seventh Hill Tap Room, 2475 Appalachie Parkway, just downstairs from Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
WVFD Gretna, Tallahassee. This is Real Talk 93.3. More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next. Your sports action update on Real Talk 93.3 with all the latest odds from Vegas.
College basketball tonight at the O'Connell Center. The Florida Gators hosting the Osprey of North Florida as a 38.5-point favorite, 168.5 the total. In college football at Raymond James Stadium, South Florida a 2-touchdown favorite over UTSA, 67.5 the total. The Bulls are 4-0 at home. Saturday, Florida laying 3 at Kentucky. Clemson a 2.5-point home favorite against Florida State. at Death Valley Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. C.J. Stroud ruled out for the Houston Texans Sunday as they host the Jaguars. Jacksonville, a 1.5 road favorite. Score $500 in rewards at the GBank First Bet VSiN Trifecta. Details at vsin.com/GBank. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Kohl's Black Friday deals are dropping early. You can save up to 50% throughout the store all weekend. Yep, call it what you want. Manifestation, luck, fate. The point is, it's happening. Plus, you'll earn $15 Kohl's cash for every $50 spent on Friday. Shop early Black Friday deals at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. And thank the universe later. Select styles up to 50% off, valid November 7th through 9th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
I got some pretty spooky news from my Paul's termite and pest control technician the other day. It turns out that I'm sharing my home with Formosan termites. Those little monsters do damage about 4 times faster than the regular termites. Fortunately, Paul's discovered them on a routine general pest service, and they've already turned the Formosans back using an amazing treatment called Centricon.
Paul's was the first to introduce the Centricon termite colony elimination system to North Florida and is the leader in this non-invasive treatment. Instead of dumping gallons and gallons of harsh chemicals into our soil, Centricon uses environmentally sensitive treatments loaded in bait stations. These stations are placed around the home. Termites are present, they feed, and take it back to the colony, which is then destroyed. To learn more about Centricon and a free consultation, go to callpauls.com for the elimination of termite or any other pest.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Pauls. We'll get them all.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Hope you're well on a Redemption Thursday. And a lot of discussion about the things that don't necessarily revolve around that game, as well as our wagers. Well, my wagers, anyhow. What do I do with my picks, everybody?
You can look at the screen if you need them.
Did you put them up? You put them up there already? Yeah, we'll have to do it. I misplaced my picks, but they're there. Redemption Thursday wagers right out the right out the gates for hour number 3. West Virginia -6.5. Rice -2.5 against UAB. Texas A&M -6.5 against Mizzou. Syracuse +28.5. Washington -10.5 against Wisconsin. San Jose State -5.5. Clemson -2.5 against FSU. Florida -3. TCU -9. Duke -9.5. Man, I have way too many favorites this week. Sometimes it works out that way.
All I know is Rice.
Damn it, man. Too many favorites. I'm Joe Public this weekend. We'll see. Prop Jeff's co-op. Let's fire him up. There's a few right there. I like them. I feel good about them. I've got them right here in my hand. You start with Proposition 1. Prop 1. How you voting? I think you like this prop. You'll do this one, right? You may have already done this one.
Yeah, well, there's value to it. Some of these other ones, you have a need for the props, and I appreciate that about you, because some of them you have to lay 2 or 3 things, and it's like, well, 2-1, 2-1 odds.
There's a few that are big though. Jack Beck. Oh, sorry. Back to the top. Brock Bowers and Cortland Sutton. Anytime touchdown scorers. They both have to for us to nail this thing. Come on, baby. Let's get it done in the first quarter time so we don't have to sweat it. Get our win early in the evening, and then we're like, we'll see what happens with the rest. Geno Smith, not very good. Just need you to throw one, buddy. 1 touchdown pass, and I need it to be to Brock Bowers. And Bo Nix. If he doesn't throw any touchdowns in the first 3 quarters, don't get nervous. He typically stinks for the first 3 quarters and then becomes Joe Montana in the 4th. So hang in there. You'll get your 2. Let's hope. Same game parlay. Jack Beck, 10-plus receiving yards. That's an alternate receiving yard number. Pat Bryant, 2-plus receptions. Ashton Genty, 2-plus receptions. Get plus 224.
You could be making up Pat Bryant, and I haven't caught it yet.
No.
That doesn't sound like a real player.
That's a real player.
I don't even know which team he plays for. I'm going to assume the Raiders because the Raiders are bad.
It's funny that now, should I do that down the line to see if you
test people?
If I'm like, I'll make up a crazy name. He's the Broncos, by the way. But
really? Oh, see,
yeah,
there you go.
He's a sneaky play. There were reasons I did it.
Give me Rocco Santone over 3.5 catches.
Rocco!
That has backup tight end written all over it. Rocco Santone.
Well, Pat Bryant's a wide receiver, and
is he?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver. Ashton Genty, is the running back. You already know him, and he is with the Raiders. They'll throw to him out of the backfield. All right, another same game parlay for you. J.K. Dobbins, 10-plus receiving yards in the first quarter. That's an alternate number. Brock Bowers, 5-plus receiving in the first quarter. That's an alternate number. Cortland Sutton, 10-plus in the first quarter. That's the one I want to hit, Tom. Get me that Dobbins-Bowers-Sutton hit in the first quarter, and we are flying high. That's a good one. And then finally, Daniel Carlson over 6.5 total kicking points. Just to sprinkle it in there. They like kicking field goals.
Need some 3.7s.
Yeah. But if you want to have fun, this is all up to you guys, whatever you want to do. Take every one of those and make them the same wager. Because I did. And if that hits, buddy, we'll go to Vegas next week and watch these games. That would be something. Noel Gal, thank you. She writes, my dog's name is Sutton. She's sending you luck, Jeff. Thank you, Sutton. Good girl. I'm hoping that we get one of these because we've been so close the last 2 weeks. These props have been fun as hell to throw out there, but we've come up a reception short, a couple of yards short. We came up a screen pass that was dropped short. It is just, I'd rather just, to me, when we lose these, I'd rather like all of them not hit. Like, okay, it was one of those nights we threw some pizza money at some things and the game went squirrely on us and it didn't happen, and so be it. It pisses me off when the next day I look at my thing, it's green, 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 red, green. Damn it! How close was the red? 1? No! I was right. Yeah, when that happens, it hurts. But we'll see.
You become a student of how good of a route runner a receiver or a tight end is when you play fantasy football or you do prop bets or you have a daily fantasy account where you have whatever the captain's pick game.
Mm-hmm.
You quickly understand how good somebody is out of their breaks, what their best routes are in the route tree, because all you're watching is, 82 at the snap. All right, 82. Oh, he's open. Oh, well, they're looking the other way. That was a good move, though. Good route.
You've asked me this before, and my son Bryce asked me this before, like how to come up with these. So you're right, by the way. There are aspects of, say, fantasy football and gambling combined that make you a better fan, a more knowledgeable fan of what teams do and do not do, and what a player is or is not within a scheme or against a certain look. And I think it certainly aids somebody in my position to do that as a talk show host, because you end up accidentally knowing things about players that aren't stars and teams that you begin to realize are bad matchups for other teams based on those percentages. You can see that, well, they run primarily this, and this team does not do a good job against that. And that's a bad matchup for them.
That's where watching this game against watching these last 2 weeks of Clemson football, it's funny because, of course, it's not truly irrelevant what the Clemson defensive line and what their linebackers do. But if you're trying to assess what they are in the secondary, that's irrelevant when you're watching the play. Like, all right, well, I know that they're going to be right around the quarterback or they're going to stop the run, but let's see how they communicate. Let's see how they roll their safeties. Let's see
Right.
if their hand signals and guys are tapping their helmet or trying to communicate from one level to the other. Are they returning the communication? And sometimes you watch the game that way and you come away, I think, a little bit better for it. If it's not your own football team that you're watching on a Thursday night prime video, go watch that prime cast that they have with the All-22.
Which is really cool.
It's great.
It makes games that I'm not interested in interesting.
But the ball is snapped, the quarterback has it, and I'm not paying attention to that. I'm watching the route combinations. I'm watching to see how the members of the secondary line up in zone and man. Are they bluffing too high when they're actually going to play 1 or 3? Like all these little things. It can get really nerdy and really fun in a very fast manner if you do that. And again, gambling, fantasy football, all that stuff kind of opens the door to that part of the game, which is honestly how scouts watch it and how coaches will watch it. They're going to fixate on one part of the field, and it doesn't matter. I know that Reuben Bain's really good. Let me find out about their corner and their safety.
What you're doing is something that a guy who I respect and wrote a book on this very subject. Pat Kerwin wrote a book, a former executive in the NFL, wrote a book called Take Your Eye Off the Ball. And it's teaching people who want to know more about football the ways to do that, and hence the title, Take Your Eye Off the Ball. And it's a really good book. He also wrote a book about scouting methods. Bill Belichick has actually authored a book about scouting methods too, which goes back to when he was like 12 years old, working with his dad, who was coaching in the Navy. It's that kind of stuff is fun to listen to the way that those people look at the game. If they go into the stands or if they're sitting in the press box or whatever it might be, like they're not following the ball at all.
Well, that's why last week when we're having our discussion about Wake Forest defense and how good it is, what is it susceptible to? Well, one of the things is deep shots. Even though the numbers don't tell you that they're susceptible to deep shots, if you watch them, you will see there are certain situations where they will isolate, they'll be in man, and you know that they're not good enough to hold up. That is one of the laments I have about this football season for Florida State so far, is Pitt was like that too. But when Deuce got hurt, that went out the window because we can't seem to find anybody but Deuce down the field with any degree of consistency. When he hit Danzy, the game was already over. You needed an onside kick to help you. You could say you had a 1% chance. But in the flow of that game, had you had Deuce Robinson available to you for the full 60 minutes, you would have been able to take advantage of that just a little bit more like we did against Wake Forest last week.
Remember a few weeks back, I think somebody asked us, or we were doing a red zone perhaps. And I remember being frustrated because I said at the time, like, hey, man, are we going to see another receiver develop? Are we going to get somebody else to really develop as a wide receiver besides Deuce? Because I think at some point you're going to need him. And the answer has been largely no, we haven't. There's sparks and moments here or there where somebody flashes where you're like, oh, maybe we got something there. But the consistency week to week of a solid number 2 that you can count on that's going to have 5 catches, 4 catches, whatever it might be, they haven't done it.
No, nor has there been a consistent chemistry with Tommy because it takes 2 to tango in that department. Danzy's the closest player. I think McCoy is probably behind him and ahead of Squirrel. I think you probably have to make that argument.
McCoy's coming along.
Yeah.
He's starting to come along. Yeah.
And we all thought Boggs was going to be that guy, but I mean, that health has been a major issue for him. And so
that's so frustrating.
It's very frustrating
because I like his skill set a lot. But
well, yeah, I mean, let's just say that you actually devised a passing offense, not a running offense first, and you have Deuce, Squirrel, what McCoy has become, Danzy over. Like you kind of have a decent 4 to 5 wide receiver offense here, and Pittman in there as well.
You know, Pittman's my guy.
If you wanted to go empty every play, you kind of have the personnel to do it. But that's not what we run here.
No, we run an option offense.
With some explosive downfield shots to one player. Yes.
Sad story out of the NFL today. Don't know how many of you saw this, but I do need to pass it along. Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Nealand died today from what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the age of 24. That is a very sad story. He was just drafted, I believe, a year ago in the 2nd round by the Dallas Cowboys. Had played well, had dealt with some injuries recently. He set a record for tackles, sacks, and tackles for loss growing up in Wyoming, Michigan, by the way. That's where he went. Then he went to Western Michigan, where he played in 38 games and was an elite player in that conference. He was a second-team All-American while there, and Dallas drafted him, played well for Dallas in the very brief time that he's been there. Sadly, took his own life today at the age of 24. You just wish the best for those that loved him. That's awful. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Harnessing the power of the sun, delivering the highest quality drinking water, we are warming homes and fueling industries. And behind every service, there's a dedicated team. They're your neighbors, friends, and family. We are connected, and together, we are stronger. Day and night, rain or shine, the City of Tallahassee Utilities is working for you.
It's where you raise your kids, where friends become family, where every corner has a story worth telling. It's your neighborhood. At ABC 27, we share those stories, bringing you news that connects communities, builds pride, and reminds us we're part of something bigger. We are ABC 27, in your neighborhood.
Hey man, have you heard the sound? Pentalpha Jewelry's the best in town. For rings, diamonds, earrings, bracelets, and more. Pentalpha Jewelry Store.
When was the last time you randomly did something nice for someone that means a lot to you? Now, I say this every day at the end of my show, for everybody to be a better person today than you were yesterday. Well, one way to do that is to drop into Pentalpha and get a gift for someone who deserves it. It'll brighten their day, their week, maybe even their year. You don't have to wait for a holiday or special occasion, so don't wait to go check out a true local gem, serving Tallahassee since 1988. Now, sing along with me, and I'll see you at Pentalpha.
Pentalpha Jewelry, Pentalpha Jewelry, Pentalpha Jewelry, home the real nice guys.
Looking to upgrade your backyard, your business, or even your life? Then you've got to check out Southeast Portable Buildings right here in Tallahassee.
That's right. Southeast Portable Buildings has everything: sheds, cabins, carports, and now beautiful decks to go with them.
Imagine a brand new storage building and a deck out front. Perfect for that morning coffee or for your family gatherings.
Need something custom? No problem. They'll work with you to find exactly what fits your needs. Big or small, simple or stylish.
And with easy financing options, you can make your dream space happen sooner than you think.
Southeast Portable Buildings, where you're not just getting a building, you're getting a lifestyle upgrade. Give our friends a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400.
Southeast Portable Buildings.
Big buildings.
Big decks.
Big dreams.
Southeast Portable Buildings on West Tennessee Street, just north of Capitol Circle in Tallahassee.
November 10th, 1919, the first Armistice Day is observed following the cessation of hostilities on the Western Front of World War I, later known as Remembrance Day. In 1954, the United States Congress established a national holiday to be observed each year on November 11, honoring all of our nation's veterans for their service and devotion. This Veterans Day, ACL Home Inspections in Tallahassee will join with Americans here and across the world as together we honor our nation's veterans with parades, ceremonies, displays, and prayerful gatherings, giving thanks for our nation's veterans and their loved ones for their willingness to stand in defense of our freedom and the liberty of our nation. A message of thanks from ACL Home Inspections in Tallahassee. Online at aclhomeinspections.com or call 850-312-8919.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, the games tonight, not ideal. I did have fun with last night, like you said, maybe spruced up the evening's matchups by watching hockey and college football, but it's not ideal tonight. This is, first of all, I'll watch, obviously. I've spruced the Raiders game up quite a bit. Yeah, I've had to spruce that one up.
You're like a vest from a server at Bennigan's. You got all the flair.
Had to, Tom. What am I going to do? It's Denver and Las Vegas. I know they're rivals, but tough to sell that game.
Ever since we had that discussion about your Thanksgiving at Bennigan's, I want to go to a Bennigan's.
You want to go to Bennigan's?
I do.
I can tell you, it's, as you remember it, not great. Now, I haven't been back to a Bennigan's. First of all, how many Bennigan's are left?
Closest known location to here is Fort Lauderdale. There's one in Athens as well.
There's a Bennigan's in Athens?
Yeah. There's one in Duluth, Georgia. Is that near Dublin?
Bennigan's. Man. Bennigan's is a lot like all the rest of those types of restaurant chains that you're like, oh, look at that, Chili's. You know, you go, it always looks better from afar. They do a good job with their commercials. Then you go in there, you're like, this is ass. This is not good. Food's not good. Service is terrible. And I'm not besmirching any particular Bennigan's or Chili's or Applebee's. They're all the same place in a lot of ways.
I got to tell you, sometimes an Applebee's is pretty clutch.
I don't know, Tom. I don't remember the time that I walked out of Applebee's going, all right, Applebee's.
I got 3 times.
Okay.
I don't know if it's for the air or
Recently?
not. One was 2 years ago, yes.
Okay. 2 years since you've been back. It couldn't have been that good.
Well, I moved away, and now I don't live near one. I lived near one. It was off of Buck Lake.
Sort of do. There's an Applebee's in Tallahassee. In Tallahassee, by definition, not that spread out.
It was on Buck Lake. There are no bars over where I lived, but the Applebee's came through for me.
No, tonight's matchup is Georgia Southern and App State, which, okay, you get 5. It's a 5.5 point game. Okay, I take it back. At App State, we might have some cool weather there. Kidd Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina, where yours truly lost his keys in a snowstorm.
Oh, yeah. This required somebody to help you for free, and then you sent money.
Yeah. You got
you sent money.
Yeah, I did send him money, but you were mad at me that night or whatever when I told the story.
I was aghast. I wasn't mad. I even knowing stories of pinball machines and so forth.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Or Frogger. Whatever.
No.
Galaga,
Miss Pac-Man machine, the Miss Pac-Man machine.
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Well, those quarters were begging to be taken. UTSA in South Florida tonight. Now, that is a 13.5-point spread. It's a big one for South Florida. They still got an outside shot. They need to win out, I would think, with the 2 losses. Well, they just have the one in the American. That choke job against Memphis is brutal.
Ouch. Major ouch.
But that because of that,
But Memphis plays Tulane this week?
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, that's a biggie as well.
Yeah, it is a big one. There's sorry-ass Charlotte down there sucking along with Tulsa. Good old American. It wasn't that long ago Charlotte was decent. But I've always thought, as an aside, that Temple should be better for some reason. Like, I feel like Temple, I don't know if it's where they play or their uniforms or what it is. I don't know if it's the Philadelphia factor. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Temple should be a legitimate program.
I have been to a Temple home game.
You have?
Yeah, 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Was it enjoyable?
Well, I went to see my buddy who was redshirting, actually, so I watched him stay on the sidelines for Miami. And it was Miami Temple. It was probably 3-4 weeks after we played them and beat them on Monday night. And Devin Hester was on that team.
Oh, wow.
Devin Hester turned his back to the entire punt return or punt coverage team. The 6 and the name were facing them. And he still juked them all out and scored a touchdown.
Of course he did.
There were probably 10,000 people at that game at most. But I got to go to Lincoln Financial Field. It was a gorgeous morning.
I think that's why I believe that they should be better, is that they play in an NFL stadium. I feel like and I know you can say the same about USF, right? USF should be better. They play in an NFL stadium. Temple, every time I see him, like, you should be better. Why do you suck all the time? Get it together, Temple. I either think of that or I think of Chaney. I think people like that. I don't know.
Met Willie Williams after that game, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Great guy, I'm sure.
Well, I was talking to AJ, and Willie came up, and he said, I'm Willie Williams. And, we were supposed to go, all right.
Oh, cool.
And there was an awkward pause, and he's like, oh, I'm not a star. Okay. In this conversation.
Yeah.
Like, no, just talking to my buddy, man.
Nobody cares, man. For your fun, 88 of them done by CBS. It is Meet the Candidates, the list you need for college football's wildest coaching carousel. And it is kind of fun. It's a fun read. They have different levels that they use. For example, the belle of the ball is Lane Kiffin. Will they listen? Moonshots is what some of these are called, and that would be Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, Mike Elko at Texas A&M, Dabo Sweeney at Clemson. I think the answer to Dabo Sweeney is yes, he would right about now.
I think it would be funny if Marcus Freeman took the LSU job.
Oh, man. Notre Dame people would be like, what? Come on, man.
And he's more successful than Brian was. That would be funny.
I'd hire Marcus Freeman tomorrow if I could. Big fan. Big fan of Marcus.
Would do very well recruiting. Very, very well.
I'm a big fan of Marcus Freeman. Well, hell, at this point, I think we are all fans of Mike Elko, but why would you leave if you're Elko? You're in the SEC. You've got resources for days. There's nowhere to go.
He's actually using the resources.
Yes. Yeah. Champs who want back in the game. Well, you knew Jimbo Fisher's name would be atop that list, and it is. Ed Orgeron vying for jobs currently, and then there is the outside chance that some college hires John Gruden, who has made it known he'd like to coach again. The group of 6 best are names that we've talked about and bantied about, and probably names that, frankly, our administration is looking at. John Summerall at Tulane, Alex Golesh at South Florida, Eric Morris at North Texas, Ryan Silverfield at Memphis, Jeff Traylor at UTSA, G.J. Kinn at Texas State, Tyson Helton at Western Kentucky, Jason Eck at New Mexico, and Ryan Beard at Missouri State. Coordinators to know, and that's where it gets silly. Everybody from Texas Tech's OC to Tony White at Florida State as their DC, and this is not a good defense this year. but he's still well thought of. Indiana's DC, Indiana's OC, all of Indiana's coaches. Indiana's doing something weird, and I wish I knew what it was, because it isn't just that they went out and got the transfer quarterback. They play very good defense. If you watch them play defense, it's fun. They get after the quarterback. They're stout against the run in the middle. I don't know where they're getting these guys. These aren't the leftover James Madison players. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it. Siggs he's got it figured out.
So you want their defensive coordinator here?
No.
Okay, just checking.
But maybe. I think
good answer.
But maybe. I mean, look, you could go through all these guys where you'd say, I don't know anything about him. I don't know enough about him. I don't know if he could succeed or not. Like, if you took the Oregon offensive coordinator, Will Stein, if you took Ohio State's Brian Hartline, a lot of people do want Brian Hartline because of his ability to recruit. A lot of people will say, hey, I'll take a chance on him. He's their offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Shannon Dawson, which is the Miami OC. And I think we like Shannon Dawson. I don't want Shannon Dawson, but I like him. I mean, it's not his fault that his quarterback throws the team under the bus after he throws picks. But Tim Beck, the Vanderbilt offensive coordinator, Bryant Haynes, the Indiana DC, as I said, Mike Shanahan. Indiana's OC is Mike Shanahan.
Interesting.
I don't know if Shanahan, like what you do, can he recruit?
I wonder if maybe this is the year. I just looked quickly at Miami's remaining games. And, of course, they're playing Syracuse. You took Syracuse plus 28.5.
28.5.
NC State travels to Miami the week after. And that game will also have 10,000 people. And NC State easily could win that football game because of the circumstance. Miami loses that game and they lose to Pitt. Could it be that Miami fans and message boards finally get it right that John Gruden goes to coach the Miami Hurricanes? They've been calling for that for 15, 20 years.
Tennessee did the same thing.
You're right.
Years.
Tennessee did that forever, too.
Tennessee did it.
They might have been the OG in the John Gruden fake sweepstakes, but Miami fans have been calling for it for a long time.
Isn't Gruden's wife a former Tennessee cheerleader? I think that's where that stems from. I think that's where that stems from.
He also looks proper in the color orange.
Yeah. Gruden's gotten fat. Every time I see John Gruden now, I'm like, damn, son, push away. I know you got a lot of money. You got a lot more coming to you. He's going to win that lawsuit.
I got to be more like Andy Reid.
He's going to win his lawsuit from everything I read. Like, that seems to be overwhelmingly in his favor. I will note that Fitzgerald won his lawsuit against Northwestern. He is eligible to be back coaching, wants to, and it looks like he won that lawsuit going away. They settled, basically. He just made a lot of money. Pat Fitzgerald to Florida State.
Discipline.
Listen, found ways to win at Northwestern, for goodness sake.
Yeah, yep, he did.
I mean, that's hard to do. And even if you think that some over-the-top hazing occurred, it's not the kind of egregious. It's not like ignoring child rape at Penn State. You know, it's different. You're like, oh, okay, some guys got hazed.
Well, truthfully, anything next to what Penn State did, you could say that they were running arms illegally.
You're like, he was running arms.
It wasn't Penn State.
Everybody learns. I mean, you know.
Meanwhile, Notre Dame's over here like.
Yeah, you're right. Nothing compares to what Penn State ignored for a long effing time, too. I don't know why I take a weird pleasure in the fact that when you talk to diehard Penn State people who still try to believe that, well, Joe Paul didn't know. He had no way of knowing. Like, oh, my God. Go read that stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you, oddly enough, since we circled back to Penn State, I keep getting emails from an agency who wants us to interview Jay Paterno because Jay Paterno is revealing things about today's college football.
No, I'm sure.
But anyway, because we brought it up, it's the third time I've gotten that email in the last week or so. They're really trying to push Jay Paterno out there as a guest.
Pat Fitzgerald feels, quote, 100% vindicated in the wake of the August settlement of his wrongful termination lawsuit against the school. He's not allowed to talk about a lot of this, but, man, the school seems to have agreed. I mean, if you look at the school's statement, they're like, We kind of screwed that up. Well, you sullied the man's reputation along the way in that write-up from this story where they basically came in and said, after we researched this, we realized that some hazing occurred, but Pat Fitzgerald didn't know anything about it and didn't condone it. My man, like that's a quick trigger.
Yes, and that would be quite the powerful legal proceeding that led to a settlement if you're going to offer that quote up. That might be part of the settlement. Am I getting my timeline right? This is post-settlement that quote comes out? That might have been a part of the settlement, is that you will go on the record and you will say this in print.
He said, in fact, he was very much looking forward to the case moving forward so that he could do exactly that, but was not given the opportunity. He came across as, emboldened and was like, yep, go read. He was doing an interview with ESPN today and this morning, and he said, I'm not allowed to talk about certain things. Believe me, I'd like to, but I can't. Pete Thamel was doing the interview, and then Thamel followed it up with, you said in your statement that you feel fully vindicated. What gives you the feeling of vindication? He's like, all I can say is go read what Northwestern said about the investigation. So he put it back on the school because the school came out and was like, yeah, he didn't do anything wrong. Which is a nice retort. He's like, that's all I can say. Go read what the school said. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
News now.
A Tallahassee woman whose toddler died after ingesting... was terminated on Monday after a separate investigation through FWC found she was dishonest on her time cards. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
Now, here's your Tallahassee weather report.
From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold. Skies will remain clear all day long, but we could have a bit of a breeze at around 10 miles an hour as we head out for our work breaks. As we head home, though, from work, we will climb into the upper 60s with the wind dying down. From the ABC 27 First to Know Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ryan Gold.
From the championship stage to coaching change and everything in between, Warchant.com remains your home for the best FSU football coverage in the business. Brutally honest columns and features, market-leading multimedia presence across video and podcast, the largest FSU fan community with a staff that combines for over 100 years of experience covering the Noles. When change comes, Warchant.com is your home for analysis from every angle. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It is a really crazy sport we love and are passionate about and cover. Tom, I didn't get to it earlier today, but you have the audio that I wanted to play earlier from Rhett Lashley, who spoke today to Danny Cannell and who's the other co-host? Or
Dusty Dvorak.
Yeah, yes. They do a good job. Anyhow, I wanted to play.
I like Dusty as an in-game analyst.
He's very good.
We've been talking about like good crews recently. We had that conversation. Didn't bring him up. Dusty and Dave Pash. That's a good team.
I think it's a very good team. I agree with you. Both are good at their jobs, objective. It's a clean broadcast. I like it a lot. But he was on their show this morning. I've been talking about this lately. You recall a week ago, of course, I'm going to play a clip where somebody echoes something that I said. I know they didn't steal it from me. But I think that a lot of people are beginning to feel this way because when you take a closer look at the committee, that seems to, especially early on, typically just echo or ditto whatever the AP vote is. And I questioned earlier this week, why the hell are they even meeting in Dallas and having dinners and doing all these things and sequestering themselves? No, they're not doing any original thinking in there. And you do see the inconsistencies. And as the talent gets dispersed more evenly throughout college football, it is difficult. We had a long conversation yesterday, you and I, about the merits of the middling teams of the SEC and the ACC and the Big 10 and the Big 12 and all that stuff. And I think it's only going to get more and more confusing no matter what side of the argument you're on with this. Like, I happen to think the ACC is not very good this year, but I will admit that there are some good teams in that league. I think Louisville's a good football team, and I have no idea why they would be 8 spots behind Notre Dame. They beat Miami. Notre Dame didn't, but that's where we're at. And it's going to get more difficult for anybody to get this right.
Both road wins or road games too for Louisville and Notre Dame, so you can't differentiate there.
Right. I think it's really hard. I don't envy the people on the committee. I tell you now that I would look at that and we would be arguing all day. You and me would be arguing, and we like to think we're objective. It's a hard effing job. And I want people to be taken out of it. I don't want the people making the decision. People got all mad back in the day with the BCS. Oh, these computers. Nope. Love the computers. I want more computers helping to decide this. I need far more objective measures than some guy who went to Wisconsin voting on a Big Ten team slightly ahead of an SEC team, or an SEC guy voting on all SEC teams ahead of all ACC teams and all Big Ten teams. I don't care. None of us are completely objective. We're not. It's impossible for us to be. We all grew up somewhere. Our life's experience helped mold us. We went to school somewhere. We're not going to be totally objective. It's very difficult to do. You can strive to be, but it's very difficult to do. Anyhow, asked about the system, asked about where college football is going, Rhett Lashley said this.
Teams have the same record. I don't know how we control a narrative that is kind of controlled for everyone. If two teams have the same record, one team has better wins than the other, and one team beat a team head-to-head, they shouldn't be ranked 8 spots behind them. If we're saying now it's about data-driven metrics, it's no longer about your opinion and eye test as much. But all we heard last night's an eye test. If I'm Louisville, how am I ranked behind a Notre Dame? But every year there's going to be, if it wasn't us, it'd be the other league, right? Someone's going to have a gripe. And my whole thing is, that's part of what makes college football great. It's awesome. I love, for the next month, there's just going to be a lot of great debate. And that's what makes our game great. But let's take as much out of the human element of picking people as we can. No one else picks people. It's not a pageant. Earn it. And so in the NFL, I got to be one of the 7 teams in the AFC or the NFC to get in. It's not hard. Do that. But if I win my division, I'm in. And so at college level, is it 16 teams? I don't know. I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, with 4 automatic bids from the 4 major conferences. But we have all these other caveats we got to try to please. So maybe the one that 3 of the 4 leagues back right now with 24 teams is great. And there's 136 teams in college football. 24 out of 136 is not watered down. And if right now in the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC, everybody knew they're competing for 4 spots, you just talked about 6 teams in our league competing for 2 right now. Think of the parity that you could have and how great college football could be because you earn your way in. You earn it. No one has to go politicking for it. No one has to gripe that they're ranked behind or ahead of somebody. Man, finish in the top 4 in your league and you're in, and you get a chance to go play for it.
There's parts of what he said there that I completely agree with and some that I'm not totally in line with. But I do love the part about let's eliminate people. Yep. Get rid of people. I don't need this committee. We've seen the committee fail miserably. And you don't trust them. Either do I. I don't know how you could. There is a sense occasionally when you get these rankings that they're just making it up as they go along. I mean, I never want to feel like they're just making it up as they go along, but it feels like they're just making it up as they go along.
No, this is the opposite of the court system where people and judges like to lean on precedent. They'll just change it the next year. It's completely different than it was when there was a time of game control and body clock and all that stuff. I mean, that's
the silliest thing.
That's now 11 years ago, by the way. 11 years ago. We've come, leaps and bounds in some areas, and in other areas, it's whatever they need it to be to craft the story that they need to tell. And the other thing is you only have the chairman or whatever the hell the name of the person
Well, that poor bastard gets trotted out there to wear it. Yeah.
Right. It should actually be the entire committee. All right, everybody who voted for this team, raise your hand. Okay, why? And we're going to go one by one. That is the better way to conduct an interview instead of having one person speak for an opinion that they might vehemently disagree with.
Oh, that happens a lot. I mean, we've heard that before where chairman's had to come out and talk, and you can tell. I mean, this happens in the NCAA basketball tournament a lot, where a guy will be like, well, the committee felt like, and they'll try to pin him down. They're like, well, the committee. Yeah.
This is something you see with debates in politics where news channels, this is one of the good things the news channels actually do on cable as well, is they'll have a group of 25, 30 people in a room. They just are doing post-debate coverage, and they said, who do you think won the debate? And people will raise their hand on either side. Why? Put a microphone in their face. Why do you think that Alabama and Texas should be rated ahead of Florida State? Who voted for that? Show of hands.
Yeah. All
right, let's go down the line and just answer the questions. It would be a lot easier to take as a fan, but you're right. You could just eliminate it. And I don't know what the magic number would be for the field in the college football playoff, but everybody together is pushing for 16 or more. You can hear it. No matter what side you come down on, you can hear coaches and people in the industry pushing for more teams to be in the field than just 12.
I think we're going to get to 16. I don't want more than 16. I don't really even like 12 all that much, but I can live with it. And if we're going to go to a super league eventually, then fine. But the problem is that as you usher in a more professional operation of college football, becoming more professional football, you don't have the same parameters in place that make professional football so good, such as a salary cap. Just because Jerry Jones has more billions than some of the other owners doesn't mean he has a distinct advantage. He doesn't, because he can only spend what everybody else can spend because of the salary cap. That is going to carefully regulate that. You're not going to have a renegade owner like they do in baseball who's able to spend more than every other team in baseball by a lot. They also have contracts. You can't just come and go as you please when you sign a contract. You can't. You can work up to being a unrestricted free agent, but until that time, you're under contract. You must play for that team, and if you don't, you're fined. You can sit out. At some point, if it goes too long, you lose the rest of the contract. You get nothing. And the rule in the NFL is a team can't even bring you on if you do that after a certain amount of time. So it's, there's a way to professional football does it better than college football. We know that. If we're headed in that way, I don't need the pageantry. I don't need somebody in a room in Dallas telling me that they just think that so-and-so's better. Well, I'm glad you think that, Bob. But you don't know, and neither do I. And I don't think that. And we don't need this voting. This isn't ice skating. I don't want that. Let's figure out empirically how we get these teams in. And I think the computer did a better job of that. I always liked the BCS. If you wanted to change what was being inputted into the computer, you could. You could. Now, having a vote, this is where it would help to have a czar of college football or something, as to what data points are going to be considered. Okay, fine. That's the debate.
Well, this is also where reclassification of the sport, Super League, would help all of this, because then you can make an attempt for an equitable schedule. The NFL doesn't have equitable schedules.
No.
Some years you get lucky and you get the AFC South. And some years you get lucky, and you could argue that about the NFC South, and that's your total draw, is that you have to play 4 games against those opponents. You go, all right, the path to 9 or 10 wins is a lot easier because we don't have to face the AFC West. Yeah, good year to get that, or in this case, this year, the NFC North. So it's not equal, and yet we don't really gripe about that when the playoffs come around because we all understand that there is a rotation and an element here to equitable schedules, which does not happen in college football.
Does not. And then also we know how these teams arrived here. This wasn't a vote. Like some guy named Steve just decided that he liked the Seahawks more than he liked the Chiefs. That's not how it works.
And this is why I do think that the argument for automatic qualifiers at a certain level for each conference, 2 or 3 apiece, I think is the right argument. Because you can't play each other at the clip that you need to be able to definitively state Big 12 versus ACC, Big 10 versus SEC, or any other mix that you want to make about who is better as a conference. Most of those games are accrued in the first week of the season,
right?
Or they're accrued all the way at the end of the year, rivalry weekend after Thanksgiving, and it's too late. People have already made up their mind. So because you can't give me a real clean picture, the AQ thing for each conference is probably the smartest way to go.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It gets harder too for teams or for leagues because you have now these mini super leagues, 15 teams, 16, 17 team leagues. They can't all play each other even within their league.
I think if it was me, what I would do, and let's say the Power 4 still exists, and when you have 16 teams, if you go 3 bids each league, your 3-4 play for the right as your third. So that's your new conference championship game is standings 3 and 4.
Save the money, huh?
Well, you got to.
You got to find a way to save the money.
We all need it to be distributed down the line to all of our member institutions, don't we? So
the money.
Your 3-4 game is for your third auto qualifier. Then you've got 4 at-larges, one of which goes to a group of 5. Notre Dame might take one. Then you got 2 spots. Here's the problem.
I'm not giving Notre Dame any special privileges. They can go join a conference already.
I would do the same as you, but it's not the reality. And the other reality is my solution won't work because the SEC wouldn't agree to that. They never would.
No.
They believe they should have all of the participants.
We should have all 16. Everybody in our league is in.
Like the March Madness tournament. It's like all of us. I know that these numbers are reflexive. We exist, therefore we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Well, they would tell you that, look, man, I understand that currently in the SEC, there are some teams at the bottom of our league that have some terrible losses, but they're most likely due to the fact that they played the teams at the top of our league. What are we supposed to do?
I would just say with all those draft picks that you kick out in that conference, y'all must have the worst coaches in all of power football because your record should be dominant, clear and above your championship record. You're slipping. How are you slipping without Saban? You had Saban and Smart, and outside of those two, over the last 10 to 15 years with all these draft picks, I'm not seeing it.
By the way, very quietly as an aside, my man Brent Venables got it turned around at OU. That was a massive win over Tennessee over the weekend. You and I kind of talked about it last week at this time. We're like, that's a big game. It was sneaky important game.
Yeah, it was. It's all at once sneaky important for
Ole Miss.
Seat warmth.
Well, it was important for Ole Miss that Oklahoma went on to win that game because Ole Miss knocking off Oklahoma at Oklahoma was a good win. His first real good road win. Oh, it's his first ranked road win.
Yeah.
So that was huge. But then they went on the road and beat Tennessee. That was a big deal.
It would have been more impressive if Mateer could have hit the broadside of a barn.
But
hey,
what are you going to do?
You play the team that's in front of you.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
But yes, Oklahoma, Tennessee was like the meh bowl, and Oklahoma is less meh for winning that game.
Well, Oklahoma's Mateer, who you just ripped, obviously had himself a fine day against Tennessee.
He found it.
Yeah. I think we could give Ole Miss a little credit.
They get a little. I actually think that South Carolina win is where Lane would normally fall off the tracks this past weekend. You get the win on the road at Oklahoma, and then you play South Carolina. That's where he lays the egg. Is you never see it coming. It's like Bobby Baklava in The Sopranos. I'll bet when it happens, you never hear it coming.
Yeah. It was funny because that's a coach. I mean, they're 7-2 currently as Oklahoma. And, you know, obviously the Texas game is disappointing if you're an Oklahoma fan, but you have that win over Michigan. Obviously, you beat Auburn and you beat South Carolina. Now you beat Tennessee on the road. Your losses are to Texas and Ole Miss. Not so bad.
I mean, he's doing what we were begging for. That's for sure.
Now, Oklahoma gets Alabama next week. at Alabama. We'll see if they're going to be in that game. That's a little bit different animal. It's so crazy to me that we're sitting here about to sign off on a Thursday show the week that we play Clemson, and we're talking about Mike and his job and the program and where it's at, and we beat Alabama. It's just nuts. And, of course, subsequently, Alabama's done nothing but whoop everybody's ass.
One of the most compelling arguments you could make for Mike Norvell, is that if Tommy doesn't get rolled up on in the Kent State game, we might be fine on the surface level at 6-2.
Maybe. I don't know.
He runs around.
You feel like you could probably beat Stanford without
100%, and one should.
Yeah.
We should be able to beat Stanford. Can we go get Tate and play that game with Tate, with Purdy, with AJ Duffy? We should be able to win that game with any of those guys.
God, why'd you have to go down the litany of failed quarterbacks that we've had here?
Lutz, Jeff, Land O'Lakes.
The way you did it, too. You just, that one stunk. I forgot about his sorry ass. Oh, yeah, that one, too. He stinks. Man.
It's hurtful.
It is hurtful. What are you going to do? Good work out of you, sir. Thanks to everybody who listened today. We appreciate you on a Redemption Thursday. Let's all wish each other luck on that same game parlay. Let's make it happen, boys and girls. I'll talk to you tomorrow on a Libations Friday. Until then, peace.